Alright, what's up everyone? This is going to be, thanks to the sub goal, 350 sub goal, we are doing a live Frieza guide. So this is going to be a little different than the 21 guide that I did. For those of you who have seen the 21 guide, you would know that that guide was extremely long. It was 6 videos, and just like, there was just a lot of stuff. This one won't be as in-depth as the 21 guide, just because like I'm not nearly as much of an expert on Frieza as I am 21, but I have been playing him since release, and have, you know, experienced his changes, and he's on my main team now in season 3.5. So I do think I'm qualified to talk about the character. But so this is gonna follow more of a conversational format. I'm gonna run through, like, I don't even have like a script written down. I have an idea of like what I want to go over, but then I'll also be taking questions from like chat. And you know, the YouTube guys, you guys will just see this as a VOD, but those are who are in my Twitch chat. If you guys have questions as I go along with things, like, feel free, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. So let's just get started here. So Frieza, man, a lot of people have talked about this character, and he is really polarizing. Many think that he's the worst in the game. I would disagree. I think there's a lot of things that this character can bring to the table that I'll be demonstrating throughout this guide, but I do think that he's difficult, especially in current meta. There's a lot of things that make Frieza like a high maintenance character, and there are other characters that just have easier to execute game plans, and for that reason most people would just rather pick those than pick Frieza. That being said, I do think he's a niche character, and on certain teams he can be very strong. Like my team, I think he's like really strong on it, and I'll demonstrate some of that stuff later. But let's talk about the character in general. So first, let's go over some of his normals. So one of the big issues with this character is actually this button. I have complained about this button all of Frieza's life, and the reason is because it's kind of like it's kind of deceiving. So his 5L like moves forward a little bit, like you can see it advances, but the hitbox is actually like pretty small. So like in situations where like you want to bust out or like take your turn back, right? A lot of the time that this 5L won't reach. It's definitely not on the level of like a Bardock or like even 21. Like, I don't think her jab is super great, but hers will reach from, like, you know, back here. His, on the other hand, is kind of weird. Like, there's a lot of situations where it just kind of whiffs. But that being said, it has a really important place in a lot of like his rejump routes and whatnot. So it's -4 close up, so not the best. You can space it to be like -2 from like back here, if you can hit it on the tip of its range, which is really good, because most of the time if you're playing against a character that also has a short jab and you get them with the -2, like from back here, the pushback will like usually keep you out of reach from other characters' jabs. So like, of course, like Frieza probably can't jab you back. Oh no, you can't. All right, well that's what's up. I'm a liar. All right, sick. Well, we got that out of the way. This button is not that great, like I said. All right, it's even worse than I thought it was. It'd be like that. That being said, there's not a ton of situations where you're like using this button outside of combos. Like, you use it in clashes, but like it's not really like something that you're going to be relying on because it is very small, and his L buttons being small is like something that's a big problem for the character, I think. This being small hitbox, this 2L is so annoying. It's like it's the source of so much of my pain. Like this right here. Turn this off again. So it's -4 once again. It is a low, so that's nice. But the problem is that it's so short that whenever you go to set up for like super dash assist routes, right? So for those of you who don't know, when you do super dash assist, your distance from the character when you take off and do your super dash matters. So if I super dash from back here, right, I land far back. Whereas if I super dash up close, I land closer, right? So that means if I'm not point blank on the character and I super dash from like here, 2L does not reach, meaning that he cannot super dash 50-50 from back here. He can only super dash 50-50 if he is point blank on the character. Now he has buttons that can set him up for it, like 5M, since it advances, and that will make it reach. But it is really annoying that, you know, if you're back here, it just kind of whiffs, and like that's like, yeah, definitely not much privilege with the 2L, but it is rapid fire. It is rapid fire. It is -4 and it's low, so pretty standard 5L and 2L, a little bit stubby for my liking. But you know, that's just kind of what we have to deal with. And I think the reason that they did that is because his M buttons are pretty good, I would say. And we'll talk about those now. So his M buttons, grounded, 2M is actually, like, I think one of the most broken buttons in the game. It is a multi-hit move. It's 2 hits. It's 10 frame startup, which is the same startup as, you know, 2M Ku's 2M back in season 2 when all of you were complaining. Same speed as that 2M. It advances, and it's also -2 on block. Not even 2M Ku's 2M was -2 on block. It was -5. This is -2, which is crazy, because if you know anything about the way that Dragon Ball FighterZ works, -2 puts you in an RPS situation in a lot of cases. So you could 2M, and then if your opponent hesitates even slightly, you can steal a turn. And things like that. And it also is a really good button to stagger out of. Like, a lot of the time people will think that they, you know, they can jump out of stuff, and they'll end up getting hit by like a stagger 5H or a stagger 5M. But so like this button is really, really good, and also helps out a lot of his combo routes, giving him more time to do extensions. This button is so good. The only time that it's bad is on whiff. As you can see, since it's 2 hits, it takes quite a long time for him to recover. -41 on whiff. This is not a button you want to be whiffing. That being said, it's pretty hard to whiff this button. It's pretty hard. If you're using it in the slot, in the situations that you should be using it in, it's pretty difficult for you to whiff this button. And on block, it is absolutely insane. On hit, it's like the easiest hit confirm in the world, right? You have plenty of time. Oh wow, I'll just press any button from here. So yeah, 2M is like, yeah, that's a button right there. Like, that's a real button. I don't think his L buttons are like real buttons, but 2M's a real button. We love it. We love it around here. So the next button is 5M. Now this button is like, it's weird, because it's not super great. So you would think with the way that it looks, that the hitbox would be large, but it's actually quite small, and I think that's what makes the button kind of underwhelming in a lot of situations, is that the hitbox itself is actually like pretty small, especially like for characters that are like, you know, jump height something. So like, under ideal scenarios, what you'd love to do is be able to snipe landings with it. Like, if you see someone jumping and you know that they have to land, then press 5M as they're falling, but it'll whiff in a lot of situations. So sometimes you'll hear me call this the Frieza lariat. It's definitely not anything like real lariats. That being said, it does have really good utility. It's anti-reflect. It's like literally turn your brain off easy anti-reflect button. So if you think you're gonna get reflected, just go into 5M. They're either forced to block or they will get hit, and that is an M starter. And if you get M started by Frieza, it's gonna hurt a lot, like especially if he has assist behind him. So a lot of the situations that you get put in, if you think that if you're going for like a mix and you want to keep yourself safe from reflect and whatnot, 5M is a really good button to program in. It's really easy, and I'll be demonstrating some mix-ups involving that button as well down the line. So pretty decent button overall. It does put your opponent at the out of combo routes. It puts them at like the perfect height for like his like 2S and his 3S and whatnot. So like here, right? So that's very easy combo, right? All of these will work. So that's nice, really convenient. Don't ever really have to worry about stuff like that. So 5M definitely has its place. It's just the hitbox is just a little bit small in it. And then his H buttons. Gabrielle. Hey man, thank you for the follow. What I should actually do, I should turn on which one? I should probably turn off alerts for the time being, just because The YouTube people are gonna be like, what the heck is going on here? But I do appreciate the follows, I see. But anyway, his H buttons. Okay, now, so you guys have probably seen people talk about this button, 2H. So the funny thing about it, I think the funniest thing about 2H is that it used to be worse. It used to not have, like, the hitbox wasn't as tall back in the day. So there were a lot of situations where people would super dash at you and they would come at an angle that would just kind of miss. Keep on letting them know you do. Yeah, I appreciate the follows, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so yeah, it used to. We getting followed by it? I don't think so. Maybe, but whatever. So this button is both really good and really bad. It's really bad because it does have a dead zone above Frieza's head. So people that are characters that put themselves like right above Frieza's head, this button can whiff in those situations where other 2Hs would not. That being said, that is traded off by the fact that it has insane horizontal range. So most characters 2Hs do not reach anywhere near the horizontal range that this does. Like, do you see how far this is? And you might think that that's not impactful, but it actually is. It actually does matter, especially whenever we're talking about doing block strings. So like, if you're 2Hing from back here, even if you get it to make contact, then like you can cancel into death slash or continue block strings, and that factors into Frieza's game plan, which, you know, you want to maintain like this mid to long range spacing, because if you're here, you're like perfect, right? Because your opponent can't react to what you're doing, and you have very, very good fast tools to keep your opponent locked in. So both good and bad button. He actually does quite a lot of damage out of 2H, and I'll demonstrate some of that stuff later. But it is a projectile, so keep that in mind. If you're playing against a character that has projectile invulnerability in any way, it will projectile invul through 2H. It is a beam property projectile. It is not a ki blast. So not many characters have beam invulnerability in this game. It's like Jin, Broly. I think Gogeta goes through too. No, I think Gogeta's is beams too, right? Not I don't think it's just ki blast. I think it's beam property. That being said, there's not that many characters that have invul properties that'll just straight up go through this. But it is kind of awkward sometimes, for sure. Cooler, yeah, cooler can get through as well. But you don't really see much cooler nowadays. It'd be like that. But anyway. So 2H, you're gonna use it in block strings a lot. Don't feel scared to press it on super dashes. Just don't. A big part of the way that this character functions relies on you being able to 2H super dashes. So if they super dash at you, please just press 2H. Don't overthink it and be like, oh my god, what if something cursed happens, something cursed happens. An overwhelming majority of the time, like I've been playing Frieza for 3 years. When I press 2H on someone's super dash, I get the 2H. So don't get into your own head about 2Hing super dashes. You must smoke them if they do it to you, because they will, because they're gonna get really frustrated. But we'll talk about that in a bit. And then we have this button, which I think is, I would probably say it's Frieza's best button, and that's because of how multi-purpose it is. 5H is, it's pretty insane, to be honest. And I will explain why. So what 5H is it's a point blank smash hitbox, just like your typical 5H, but right, it's also unsuper dashable projectiles outside of the smash hitbox. So what happens is when you initially press 5H, this is the smash hitbox that is out, and then after the initial smash hitbox leaves, they travel full screen horizontally. This is really, really good. This stops a lot of things in the game because, like I said, these are beams. These are not ki blasts, so you cannot super dash through them. And a lot of people have experienced getting clipped by one single rock of this, and you actually get full comboed for like getting your leg clipped by one rock. I'll try to show you guys what that looks like. But it's pretty funny when it happens. Let me see if I can pose. No. It might be hard for me to get this timing. I don't know why he's reflecting. I need you to go away. So like you can see, like not many, all the rocks are not making contact here. You see how much hit stun this has? And he still combo into 5S from full screen, even though it was only 1 or 2 rocks that you get clipped by. This is really strong, because it also goes through your opponent's ki blasts, right? So if your opponent is trying to play ki blast wars with you, and you happen to sneak a 5H in there, it'll go through every single one of their ki blasts, and then of course you get a free combo out of it. So this button is pretty crazy. It's also pretty crazy because a lot of people in Dragon Ball FighterZ move by IEDing, right? So you'll see a lot of people like do this in the mid range just to like get close to their opponent. Okay, so this is actually really bad against Frieza. Frieza does extremely well against people who like to IED in the mid range, because if you press 5H and they do anything, they cannot escape. They will get smoked by this button in one way or the other. Either they will IED into the smash hit box, which is like pretty tall. You cannot IED over this unless you super jump. Or if they're IEDing back, right, it'll force them to block in the air or get hit and jail them to the ground, or of course you get a free combo out of it. So it's he counters like this mid-range IED idea like a lot. So this button is like really good. It's very multi-purpose. You can re-jump off of it as well. It's just a really good button, but you do want to be careful about people that know how to play around Frieza. So a lot of the reason that people have trouble with Frieza is because they're trying to handle him like conventional characters, and they think they can get away with doing things like we talked about, like just IDing in the mid-range. But what's really good is you want to, if you're having trouble dealing with the character, is you want to super jump more, because super jump can make it whip. Now that being said, he has options to call out super jump and whatnot, but if you're just playing against a Frieza who's literally just pressing 5H and not caring about what they're doing, they're not paying attention, just super jumping over top of them will like pretty much solve all of your problems. It's whenever you fight against Friezas that have good projectile mix-ups and they understand like the ranges of the game, is where things get ugly. But the online warrior Friezas, they're not thinking about that. They're just gonna mash, and you can counter this really easily because it's very minus on whiffs. So yeah, just keep that in mind moving forward. So those are his grounded buttons. Just okay, I would say overall. He has some really strong buttons, some really weak buttons. On the ground. In the air, I think, is where he really suffers. And I think a lot of people come into chats and they ask me, what do you think Frieza needs to, make him not, towards the bottom of the tier list? And I think one of the biggest issues with Frieza is that the way that he has to deal with himself in the air is kind of awkward. So JL is an okay button. It angles downwards though, so it's not the best for like jabbing super dashes or like air to airs whenever you're trying to bring your opponent down because it hits below him instead of above him. So it can kind of get you in trouble. That being said, it does give Frieza he's tied for the best cross up in the game, along with Team Gohan. So this cross up is unreactable. Cannot react to this. This is extremely fast. You don't actually have to worry about so some characters would have to 7-dash here, right? Because point blank a lot of characters whiff with buttons. He doesn't have to. Point blank, you just press it. This is extremely fast. It is not blockable. Like it's blockable, but they have to guess. Really good. Hits crouches as well. So you don't have to worry about like if they get lucky and they happen to be crouching at the time. I definitely smoked myself there. Right, it's pretty active overall. So like, yeah, this button's really good. You can delay it, you can extend with assists out of this as well. The only issue, right, why is it not as good as Team Gohan? It's not as good as Team Gohan because Team Gohan, when he hits his JL, he can go into EX legs and he can just, continue the combo. Frieza pretty much only gets an assist combo unless you want to spend an assist. He only gets a vanish combo unless you want to spend an assist, right? So you can do stuff like this, So this is what I do with my team. And you can get a lot off of this, of course. Right, so this makes the threat of this cross-up really, really potent. This is like... This is really good. This is extremely good. So keep that in mind going forward. So JL, that is its best purpose for sure. Definitely not the best button for like neutral, like trying to air people. It can have like very, very niche applications, but it's kind of awkward to use in a lot of cases. Then we have JM, which is also a really weird button. So it is a multi-hitting button. The very large hitbox does not come out until the second part of it. So the first part is just it's like hard for me to so like this is the first hitbox here. It actually comes out very fast. It's a 7-frame startup JM. The problem is that the range is not the greatest on it on the first hit. So most of the time when you're using it, the second hit is what you're gonna want to be using. You can see this hits from very, very far, right? But it takes 16 frames for the second hit to come out. So once again, it's one of those buttons that has like really niche application. It's not something that you can just kind of throw out all the time. It is a decent button on falling. Like if you're falling to the ground and you think your opponent is under you, you can toss it out from time to time and land with it. But it can be dangerous because, like I said, it takes a while for the second hitbox to come out. That being said, it makes some of his mix-ups and some of his block strings like kind of messed up because you can choose to either let the 2 hits rock on like this, right? So you can choose to let the 2 hits rock, or you can go into like double overhead with JL, or you can triple overhead with J2H as well if you want to. So like the multi-hit nature of it can really like keep your opponent guessing in situations. And will like there's like a lot of different things that you can throw your opponent off with if you're willing to pay attention to the situation that's going on. So JM is actually I think it's a good button. They changed it. They used to make it used to be slower, right? This button used to be slower. Hits would be slower, so it would change the way that he did some of his routes, like his golden Frieza routes and whatnot. Now. I still think it's a good button. It's just like it's good in different ways than the old JM used to. Also, here's a fun fact. So the second hit of this JM actually has absurd amounts of block stun. So to demonstrate this, I'll show you guys 21's JM, right? So this is plus 14-ish, right? Depending on how high or how low, right? So Frieza has crazy amounts of block stun and hit stun. So like, let's say you do this on an IED and you don't get the first hit to make contact, but the second one does, which is this actually like is something that happens a lot, where you IED and the first hitbox whiffs. So your opponent thinks you're going empty low, but then they get hit by the second hitbox because it like makes contact very low to the ground. And you can get a lot of hits this way. But it also has crazy amounts of block stun and crazy amounts of hit stun. So even if you hit them, even if you like make contact on like the edge of your range, you can most of the time still true block string out of this, right? Even with a low, I'm doing dash 2L after this, and I can still get it to true string as long as I'm not being slow, right? So that's something that is pretty interesting. And there's also a hitbox. I don't know if it works on Goku. Yeah, so there's a hitbox where you can get the first hitbox, the 7-frame hitbox, to make contact on a cross-up, just like you're able to with the JL. It's the same speed as JL. As you can see here, this is 7 frames. This is 7 frames, right? So this only works on standing opponents. You can get this to make contact, right? And you can actually still true string out of that because of how much the block stun is. It might take me a try or two. I can't remember what string I used to do for this. So like you can hit confirm this really easily as well. This is what I'm talking about with this 5L, right? This 5L is so cursed. Like if he had a better 5L, man, stuff like this would be so much easier. But if you want to take the easy way out, you can just 5M here and like it's still true strings. As you can see, I'm on guard first only. You can just press 5M. It's still strings. You still have your low afterwards. Right, that's all a true string. So lots of block stun, lots of hit stun as well. So like even if you, like I said before, you do the same thing and you get the hit, you're plus 17. So like getting this to combo is very easy. Like as you can see, this is a full combo. I have time to dash up all the way over there. Right. So yeah, very interesting button. They've decided to, you know, counterbalance the fact that the good hitbox doesn't come out into the second time by giving it like crazy amounts of block stun and hit stun. So pretty weird. JH, pretty standard button overall. Like there's nothing really to write home about when it comes to his JH. I will say that you can get some pretty cursed hitboxes with it. See if I can kind of show you guys what I mean by it. But like it does have like the Son Goku family like axe handle hitbox where, as you can see, even though I'm behind, even though we're back, even though, you know, I'm not facing my opponent, but this still makes contact. So you can get some pretty cursed like cross-up setups and stuff with it as well if you're like running an assist. But other than that, pretty standard button. Nothing too crazy. He does have J2H, which always gives SKD unless you have already spent it. So and I'm gonna be talking about this in whenever I talk about like his BMBs and his routes. But most of the time, whenever you do combos with this character, you're gonna want to do 5H combos instead of 2H combos. And the reason is because since he has the J2H that always gives knockdown, you don't need to an up smash, right? You can always get the SKD, and that works after vanish routes and all that stuff as well. So most of the time, you're gonna want to do the more horizontal routes for the corner carry. To get his corner pressure started and stuff like that. So J2H is really good for that. Also, it is plus on block. So if you decide to like do a string, if you decide to like, you know, try to double overhead your opponent, it is +2 on block, as you can see here. So, but I will say that be ready for the scramble scenario after if you decide to like do a J2H on your opponent, because I would say like 99.9% of the time, this is not blocked. People get hit by this a lot because it's something that like not every character has, and it's also like faster than like characters that have like special moves that give triple overhead. So they're gonna get on hit, it knocks down so the situation afterwards, but it's only a soft knockdown. So as you can see, he techs immediately. So this is something you want to be ready for if you decide to go for it. You are still plus, you're +7 out of this situation if they tech immediately. They can delay wake up. They can delay wake up and do, you know, that type of stuff as well. So just be really careful when you go for this. It's really nice for like whenever, you know, they have a pixel of health. They have a pixel of health and you just need to kill the character. Doing this is like pretty low risk because, as I said before, it's plus on block even if they do block it. So it's like whatever, right? Okay, so like those are his normals. Yeah, and his aerials, it's just like kind of awkward. A lot of his buttons are like unconventional, like they're not traditional with the way that, you know, characters in Dragon Ball FighterZ work, especially when we talk about his routes, because he doesn't have a launcher J2H, so the routes that he does are definitely different in structure than most. But let's talk about the juicy stuff now, right? My boy Marauder with the tier 1 subscription. Thank you, sir. Very much appreciated. Let's talk about what you guys came here for. You guys didn't come here for me to talk about Frieza's buttons. You came here to hear me talk about this type of stuff. Right. Okay, so let's talk about his key blasts. Oof, there's a lot of things. Can I get some shot emotes in chat, please, while I go over this? So, Frieza's key blasts. Arguably, well, I guess not exactly arguably, but I think that Frieza's key blasts are top 3 in the game easily, and for a lot of different reasons. So first of all, They're tied for the fastest ki blast in the game at 11 frames, right? So he's tied in speed with your Majin Buu's, your Teen Gohan, and Kefla. I think those are the characters that are tied with him: Majin Buu, Teen Gohan, and Kefla. What's different about Frieza and those characters is that he has more than they do. So he has six of the fastest ki blasts in the game. And very, very easy to convert off of. If they get hit by the last hit, they actually get knocked back and wall bounce. So very easy conversion into M pillar here. Easy hit confirm. What you want to do also is practice this situation, because it's gonna happen a lot. They're gonna be like, man, like I just want to go in on Frieza, and they're gonna super dash from full screen. Just be ready for that late 2H. So what I do whenever you can't, unfortunately you can't like hold down. You can hold down, but it can be awkward. So if you are someone that taps for your ki blast, keep doing that. That's fine. It's usually, I would say it's a little better to tap, because committing to full ki blast strings even with Frieza is not the best. That being said, if you do hold, you can actually press down. You can start pressing down while your string is going to stop it, and this can get you ready to 2H. So you can see as soon as I press down here, he stops ki blasting, right? So like this can prep you for your 2H, and you can get really late 2Hs like that. And this is like the meat and potatoes of Frieza's game plan. You really need to make sure that you answer super dash well, because if you're able to establish that fear in your opponent from super dashing, then it opens up a lot of full screen pressure and mind games for him. Also, on top of that, the last ki blast in the string is plus on block. So it's -4 there, but this is +8 from full screen, as you can see, right? So -4, right? Except for the last one. The last one is going to be at worst 0 on block, at best +8 from full screen, right? So what does this mean? What happens a lot, right? What happens a lot is your opponent will try to escape after blocking this, right? So this is on guard first only, but I don't have guard cancel. I don't have guard cancel or reflect or anything on. Yeah, it's +8. It's +8. This is why I keep telling you guys that this is not the way that you handle this character. So this is what happens a lot. You are ki blasting them from full screen, and they're like, oh, okay, well now that the ki blasts are over, you get to jump, right? Well, no, not exactly, because what you can do is you can do the full ki blast string and then EX pillar, and what that does is this frame traps their jump. It hits their jump startup from full screen, which is really good. It's really good, and this happens a lot. This happens quite a lot in my games, because they think that they can move when they actually can't, and this impedes your opponent's movement, and that's what I think Frieza is best at. It's kind of locking out your opponent from being able to maneuver around the screen, because there's so many different things that they have to look for. So it's 5S, really good. The best thing about it, actually, none of those things are even the best thing about it, in my opinion. The best thing about it, let me get a recording here. Okay, so on top of it being the fastest ki blast in the game and having 6 of them, they also pierce. So what does that mean? That means if your opponent calls an assist, this goes through your opponent and will hit their assist in the back. So if they have an assist that like appears behind them, right? And you're 5S'ing, if their assist comes out, they'll just get hit. Whereas opposed with ki blasts, with other ki blasts, your opponent can move forward and act as a shield for their assist, right? Because they can block while they're moving forward, and your ki blast will just stop once it hits your point character. But Frieza's does not stop. As you can see, even after they block, it goes through the back of them. Right? It goes through him for the rest of the screen. So that means that they cannot mash assist against this ki blast, because they will just get happy birthdayed. Right? So that to me is the best thing about it, and it really affects like how your opponent needs to call their assist against the character. Do be careful, like I said, about falling into the trap of always committing to the full ki blast string. Where it's strongest is whenever you're mixing up the amount of ki blast that you're doing. Like, oh, okay, I shoot 3 here, maybe I shoot 1, I advance forward, I move back. I'm just really masking what I'm trying to do here. My opponent really never knows what I'm gonna do, or whenever I'm gonna just stop ki blasting at all and decide to hit them with something like, you know, EX Pillar or something like that, which we'll talk about in a bit here. But 5S, really strong tool. Also gains a good amount of meter in his routes. If you want to go that route, it does affect your damage for sure. But yeah, so most of your conversions off of it are going to be either assist or vanish. If you do happen to hit your opponent with them, you can do M Pillar here as a hit confirm on the last one, because like I said, the last one causes the wall bounce. So you can just hit them with all the ki blast, M Pillar, vanish, continue the combo from there. Or if you have a assist that moves full screen, you can do stuff like this, a super dash follow up. It just really depends on like what you're running. So keep that in mind. We also have his 2S, his 1S, and his 3S. So they're all the same move, they just have different angles. And most of the time that you use this is going to be in his routes for combos. But I will say that these are like pretty good angles for the spots on the screen that you're going to be having to deal with. But keep in mind that these are ki blast property, and I actually think it would be one of the craziest buffs ever if they made these beam property, because what you can do is you can look to like snipe your opponent out of the air and stuff like that. But of course, since they are ki blasts, your opponent does have the option of doing like guard cancel super dash, right? Which means that you're gonna have to be ready for the 2H in these situations. Now that being said, you can, if it makes contact, you can cancel into a move to keep yourself safe, right? So if they think they're gonna get away with a cheeky super dash, canceling into pillar and whatnot can be very good. Also, you can jail them to the ground. You can jail your opponents to the ground if they don't like super dash immediately. So let's say they block the ki blast here. And you make contact with one of the S buttons, you can actually force them to block all the way to the ground, and then could like continue with assist or whatnot. So like here in this situation, that's all a jail if they do not super dash immediately out of the ki blast, right? Because they can't guard cancel reflect because they're in the air. So this is something that I do from time to time. If I see my opponent is like double jumped above me, sometimes I'll just do this to try to bring them to the ground instead of like trying to go up in air to air and whatnot. So these are pretty good, but dangerous. Got to be really careful about using these, but they do give them a lot of like cool route extension options. So we'll get to those eventually. So there's those, and then what else do we have? We have the JS. I hate the sound of the computer jumping over and over again. I'm sorry. So we have JS, which these are beam properties. They did make these beam properties in season 3, so you can no longer super dash through these. The hitbox is pretty large. It is quite large. That being said, he does have a good amount of recovery whenever he does this move. Most of the time, when you use this move, it's going to be out of your cross-up conversions. This is the easiest way to convert the cross-up, right? JL into JS. Even if they block it, you're so far away that you're gonna be safe in an overwhelming majority of scenarios. Like here, I don't know why jumping. Oh, okay. I was like, come on, son. So like here, right? It pushes them back so far. It's minus 13, but they're so far back that characters don't have fast enough moves to punish this reliably. Especially considering that you could also throw in an assist after this as well, right? So, yeah, most of the time it's going to be safe to go for, which is one of the reasons that its cross-up is so good, because the risk is like very low. So, they do cause wall bounce as well, in the corner. So, that means like in your routes, if at any point you're in the corner, you can actually super dash continue off of these because they do wall bounce. And in his happy birthday routes, you can JS and then empty vanish and then continue the combo before they hit the wall. You have to empty vanish before they hit the wall, or else they will fall out of Happy Birthday. But yeah, so pretty interesting. The third hitbox is bigger than the other two, so you can see the size of this hitbox. The third one is like larger. It might actually be kind of hard to see. Actually, yeah, so here, it's better to show on hit. You can see just how large this hitbox is on the third one, so you can use it as a call out sometimes if you think you know your opponent is gonna like try to move in or something like that. But most of the time you're gonna use it in combos and for cross up. Not really much else. Then we have J2S, which is it's a downward angled ki blast. Once again, ki blast property. It is best used as like an aerial stall, so like if there's times where you don't want to land quite yet, you can use it to delay your landing. You can also use it to set up like you know, like cheeky overheads. If you want to do double overhead and then set up for the triple. It also has a lot of implications in Golden, which I'll talk about a little bit later down the line. But J2S, the angle is like pretty okay. You can use it in combo routes as well. Most of the time, mid-screen, you're gonna use it. You're gonna use it as a setup for your J2H. The only time that this doesn't work is like at the end of very long combos. At the end of super long combos, the J2H afterwards can drop, so be very careful. Or the J2S will drop because it's a little bit slow. You can use it as a spacing, a trap tool as well. So here, as you can see in the corner, so it's -2 there, but if you like aim for their toes, it can actually be it can be 0 or even plus on block. It just depends on the spacing that you're looking for. So there it's 0. So like you can do things like that because most of the time your opponent doesn't expect for something to make contact this late. And that can set up for a lot of different things, whether you want to, do assists, whatnot. It's also fine to do this on a cross-up conversion as well. Does Frieza have rejumps? Yes, he does. I'll show those in a bit whenever I go over combos. So like here, instead of spending the vanish here, I can just spend the assist. Not everyone's assist is great for this. Hardock just happens to be pretty good for it. But that will mean that on your cross-up combos, you're actually gaining meter, which is a big deal, which is a really big deal. This character really loves to have meter. And we'll talk about that with specials, which is coming up. So that's J2S. A lot of moves. Frieza has a lot of moves, and I think that tends to be overwhelming for a lot of people. There's just so many things that it's hard to know what to do when. But he does have a lot of options and a lot of tools to set up this like projectile mind game. So, specials. He has a lot of these too. Let's start with 2-2 Success. So 2-2 Success is a 13 frame capture move, right? Point blank. Meaning that at the end of combos, going into this is going to be really good because it always will link into super. They'll never fall out if you hit them with this capture. Super will always work. It does work as a full screen projectile, right? It is slow. It is on the slow side for as far as like beam properties go. You can do it in the air as well. If you do it on the air and it hits the ground, it will continue horizontally. So like as you can see, I start in the air here, and then it hits the ground, and then it just moves full screen until it makes contact with your opponent. Most of the time, you're doing this preemptively to stop your opponent from like super dashing at you. You can cover with your assist as well, and then get conversions and whatnot. That being said, be really careful. This is a special move, so you can't whiff cancel vanish. And if your opponent does super dash, and they're close to you, they do get captured into the orb of death. And see, like even there, it's hard for me to like get it out before it comes out, but so you get a full combo after that. As long as you, so like when you do capture, you want to make sure that you wait until it explodes to vanish there. And then you'll get your smash and everything. You cannot use this twice in a you can use it twice in a combo, but you can only get the capture once. So here, I'll start my combo with a capture, and then I'll vanish. So as you can see, this one does not capture, but it does combo. So if you want to end your combo like this, you need to cancel into your super immediately, or else they will fall out. I need to give myself more meter. So as you can see, like, this is an entire combo. It's a hit grab. Yes, it is a hit grab. It's a capture, yeah. So as you can see, if I cancel into super early, it does still make contact and combo as usual. But be really careful about, like, when you hit raw 2-6S on people and you do your combo, don't forget that you spent your capture early in the combo, because if you cancel late, I've seen tons of Friezas drop the combo because they realize too late. They're like, oh, I got a super now, and then they drop it, right? So you got to be really, really careful about that. But yeah, so that's 2-6S. Talk about his 2-6 series, the Death Slash. These are set distance pillars. So he has the L version, which hits about round start length. M version, which hits a bit further in the back. The M version is actually the version that's used on his assist as well. And then the H version, which is, now that's the one you want. H version is what we're here for, ladies and gentlemen. H version, you get both. This essentially covers the entire screen. So let's talk about Death Slash just real quick. L pillar, 14 frames. All of these are safe on block. All of them. I think it's L and H are safe on block. M is -9, but there's a visual obscurity aspect to it, right? So that's what makes these really strong. So do I find myself using L pillar and M pillar in neutral that much? Not most of the time. Most of the time, if I'm using M pillar, it's for a combo. If I'm using L pillar, it's in conjunction with an assist, right? Because it's very fast. 14 frames is unreactable. There's like not anything that they can do. So that is very strong. H, on the other hand, is a very, very strong neutral tool. As you can see, even from full screen, it's 18 frames, right? Which is on the very cusp of the reactability window. I would just say it's unreactable. It's ridiculous. 18 frames, -1, right? You can see all the way back there. Also combos into itself. So if you hit them with pillar, you can hit them with a second one. And this is actually what you want to do most of the time. If you're going to EX pillar once, the motto goes, if you're gonna EX pillar once, you should EX pillar twice. And what's the reason for that? The reason is, since it's so safe on block, if you do it twice, there's nothing that your opponent can do in between them, right? Because it's so safe, right? And if they get hit, this is a hit confirm, because you can react to them getting hit by the first pillar and then be ready to vanish combo the second pillar. Also, there's a spacing where you can hit them with both hitboxes. So as you can see, this is two Death Slash hitboxes, but there are characters and spacings where you actually hit them with both, and it does a ton of damage. I'll try to demonstrate here. So as you can see, if I'm point blank, actually point blank, it does just whiff here. But if you're a little bit further than point blank, it's 1,000 damage, right? But I think I want to move back a little bit for Frieza. Maybe I should try with a bigger character. I might get Broly in here. Oh no, there it is. 1,800 damage, right? Because I got both hitboxes. So there are characters, big characters in particular, like 16 I know is really easy to do it on. Broly should be pretty easy as well. Where you can get the double, and it does tons of damage. You can actually hit them with the double hitbox twice. And then, you know, if you continue with a vanish combo, you're pretty much going to be doing like 4k, 5k damage off of just the pillar alone, right? Right, that's 4k for 2 bars from full screen. Not full screen, like the mid-range more so. This is really strong, as you can see. And like I said before, you can frame trap it out of his 5S since it's plus to hit jump startups. It's just really strong. I think this is one of the best moves in the game, I would say. And like not many people really talk about it because no one plays Frieza, but this move is absurd. It's beam property. You cannot super dash through it, and it allows for him to set so many traps for his opponents. Whether they think they're gonna super dash at him, it doesn't matter. My pillar's already there. Oh, Broly wants to do. Oh, because I know you guys want me to talk about this, right? You guys want me to talk about what do I do against Broly doing this, right? He never gets it off, right? If you're looking for it, this is just a punish. Also, if they're jumping, you can jail them to the ground. Right? From full screen even. The way in. Right? So this move opens up a lot of opportunities. It also smokes assist calls too. Even if your opponent blocks, if they have called their assist is gonna get absolutely cooked by this, as long as you did not press it super late. So this is really good. The only thing that you want to be careful of is what I showed earlier with it does have a dead zone. It does have a dead zone point blank. That dead zone does not exist on large characters. It only exists on I think mediums and smalls. I think on Goku. Yeah, no, it's actually just smalls. It looks like. So other Friezas, you know, your GTs, your Kid Buus, you want to be careful about EX because it can whiff. But overwhelming majority of characters in the cast, you don't have to worry about. You don't have to worry about it whiffing. But yeah, this move is really good. So definitely rely on the move. If you're someone that can use EX Pillar very well, you're gonna smoke a lot of people, and they're gonna get really frustrated because this move stops you from moving, and this is why he loves the meter, right? This is why having Frieza with meter is so good, because you can just do this. You can just do this and test your opponent. Are they gonna try to move? Are they gonna try to jump? What are they gonna do? How are you gonna deal with this? What happens if I decide to throw an assist in there with it? Now I'm mixing you, right? That's what makes it. That's what makes it so good. As a Vidal player, you're safe. No, you're not. This will hit your startup a lot. No one is safe from this. Not a single character in the game is safe from this. Because, like I said, it's unreactable. Right? So, like full screen, you can't react to this with like a cooler 3H or. Oh, if you're talking about it whiffing up close, then yeah. But like, you don't even need to do it up close, right? You can just L pillar. Actually, on Videl, my L pillar might whiff point blank, but in his normal strings, he's not exactly flush with the character anyway, right? And 5M pushes them right back into L pillar most of the time anyway. But either way, broken move, absolutely broken move. Shh, don't tell anyone, alright guys? This is our secret. Don't tell anyone about how strong this move is. Okay, next. So you might be wondering, what about his 214X series? He actually doesn't have it. For all the moves that Frieza has, he doesn't have 214L, 214M, 214A. Doesn't. But he does have 214S, which is discs. So discs are some of my favorite moves in the game because they're just kind of silly. So very slow, right? 33 frame startup. That being said, they are plus on block, both the departure and the return. So as you can see, the departure +2, and then the return disc are also plus on block. Mostly because like you're actionable, right? So I can do anything I want after this. So they can be super plus on the return trip. But yes, +2 here. So if they try to mash, you can smoke them, right? Right, they just get counter hit. So this move has a lot of implications. Most of the time, when I see myself use this as in two situations, either you're full screen and you're trying to mix up with like all the projectiles you're throwing on the screen, and you can actually convert this as well. Actually, I think I was So like if you're back here and you just want to like, you know, throw the ringer at your opponent, you're like, okay, I get a full screen conversion now because maybe they thought that you were just gonna keep key blasting, but now you mixed it up. Right, full combo. Also, on top of this, so like if you're getting a knockdown here, you can backdash and then 214S, and this medius. So as you can see, he's still in the tech animation here. He's actually still invulnerable at this point. But these hit perfectly meaty, right? They hit perfectly meaty on when your opponent is actionable. So this is really, really good. Now, be mindful of delay wake up, right? Because if they do delay wake up, you have to really pay attention to your opponent here. So under normal circumstances, you throw the discs, they're just gonna meaty. You can call assists, continue your string, whatnot. Do be careful about the discs. Do come back, all right? We actually have a command in my chat for whenever people get hit by returning discs, because people panic. They panic whenever this move goes out. So a lot of the time, what'll happen is, I'll try to record. I can't tell you how many times that this has happened. I don't know why I keep doing that. Okay, so you throw discs, and for some reason something goes off in their mind. It's like, I can just hit Frieza before the discs get to me. But the thing is that since you're the one that's plus, you can just block. Let's see, play recording. Okay, so like I throw discs here. They're like, oh, I can get my turn back, and then they get hit by discs on the way back. And then we use the disc command in chat because they're really stupid. And you get a full combo off of that and whatnot. So you can set traps for your opponent. Like I said, throw discs, you can layer with assist. Oh, you press something, now I get a full combo, right? You can alley-oop to yourself, like I said, in these routes. So as you can see, if you get a corner combo, most of your corner BMBs are going to be with discs. So you 5H, combos into discs, which combos into 2M, which will then combo to the return chip, and then you do, your continuation and whatnot. So yeah, like discs are really good. You can convert off of them full screen, plus on block, mostly used for like trapping and like Oki scenarios. You can do it mid-screen as well. Like I said, you really got to pay attention to your opponent's tech options whenever you decide to do discs mid-screen. So like I throw discs here. It's still meaty as their tech in that situation, but you do have to be mindful of like delay wake up and up techs and whatnot. When you're doing a string and you do like 5H assist disc, what stream do you do after to stay safe and still do some mix? When you do a string and you do like 5H assist discs. Oh, hold on. Give me a second. I mean, anything you do is gonna be safe, pretty much, because the pushback is like why I say that. So like here, I'm gonna try to delay it so it jails. Kind of hard though. But either way, like here, I'll just put it on guard all to demonstrate, right? So if you do this, no matter what you do, they're so far away from you at this point that like a punish is never going to be possible. You're like really plus here and you're really far. But for that reason, your opponent has a gap here, right? So even if you like jail them into the discs, your opponent is actionable before the round trip comes back, right? So it really just depends on what your opponent tries to do. Most of the time, people will try to jump. They'll try to jump. So like what you can do is you can like pillar them after the discs here. I guess I'll something like that. So like you disc and then they jump. Like you can like jail them to the ground before they come back so that they can't escape, right? So like that's pretty good, I would say. But like in terms of like a true block string, if you're spending an assist to jail into the discs, you're almost always gonna have to spend another one to like actually do a mix-up string or something like that, except when you're in the corner. So one thing I want to make note of is when these discs come back, they pull you out of corner. So what does that mean? That means if this happens, you can cross them up, or you can not cross them up, right? They kind of don't know what you're gonna do here. Same side super dash is like really strong in that scenario. Grab is also really strong, like grabbing them in between the discs. So like if you want to do like right before the discs come back, is a really strong mix-up tool. In between, there's like a lot of things you can do. It just depends on like where you are on the screen. That's what I mean by like you kind of have to play off your opponent and what tech option that they choose in those situations. So yeah, this is really good. Also sets up for some pretty cool routes that I'll show off at the end of the guide. But yeah, they're really good. They are beam property. I believe that they're coded as one single projectile and not two. So if you're going against like a beam, I do believe one beam will counteract both discs. It's like, oh god, they're so slow. Yeah, so as you can see, beam will clash with discs. Full clash there, so yeah, discs are pretty cool. So what have we done? We did 2 to success, we did the pillars, we did discs. What else do we need to do? I mean, there's he has so many moves that it's like it's pretty crazy. So 2-2S is the next thing we're going to talk about. Unfortunately, this move is not the greatest in the world, but it does have uses. So what this is a teleport. It's frame 4 invulnerable, with a shot at the end. So most of the time, what you're going to use this for is when you hit someone with like full screen discs and you still want to convert. So like that was annoying. I'm so bad at using this move, man. I'm not, I guess I'm getting 2S instead of 2-2S. But if you're doing a string with an assist, like you do disc, assist, and then key blast, right? So you want it to not jail in this situation, so that they get hit. And then before the return trip, you 2-2S, and you just get you get a full conversion off of it. I just want to do it at least once because I'm just smoking myself with this. That's what's up. It spans 5S in the air. Actually, I don't know why I have him ready. So you do want to be careful about going too early, right? You can actually just do it straight off of discs here as well, right? If you have a high hit stun assist, for like 21, right? You actually don't even have to key blast. You can just let them come back. But most assists, like if you're playing beam, if you're playing like lateral beam, you're gonna have to use 2-2S because it's like they won't come back to a point that's reachable by like just like running straight forward. I don't know why I didn't record this. I probably should have. But yeah, like the idea is break their guard, get hit, and they have to actually get hit by both discs here to for it to fully work. And I don't know about, so it has minimum distance. This move has minimum distance, so like if you're point blank on your opponent, it goes further away from them after, right? And if you're full screen, it doesn't go behind them. So it's not a guaranteed cross up by any means. It does on opponents that are getting hit. Ground bounce. Man, this is like such a hard move to work with. Alright, so like here. and then you can combo into your, you know, your 5H or your. I see a lot of Friezas do 2H here too, which is like fine. It just kind of depends on like what you're looking for, but most of the time I just do 5H if I ever do this move. It's also good for this situation. So I'll do a little recording. Like. Oh, actually, I don't have any meter on him. Feels bad. Okay, so if your opponent is trying to vanish for plus frames, so instead of blocking here, you can actually just escape. As long as you don't miss input. Yeah, see, I do not use this move very often. But like here, see, even on +2 situations, since it is frame 4 and vulnerable on startup, you can just escape vanish situations. And I would say that's its best use, is escaping there in conjunction with an assist. So, don't really use this move too much, like at all, to be honest. I don't really use this move. You can actually safe jump out of knockdown super as well, but I'll show that later on because I think that's more of a fun stuff thing, more so than something that's actually applicable. Let me take a look at, hold on, I gotta take a look at my spreadsheet really quick. I just want to make sure I didn't miss any special move because he has a lot of them. And it would be really awkward if I missed one. Death Slash, yep, Saucer, Warp Smash. Okay, yeah, that's everything. Okay, cool. Alright, and then last but not least, before we move on to like Blockstrings and combos, is going to be a super. So, his level 1 has 2 versions. They're both the same move, but they have different angles. So as you can see, this is the LM version. Kind of goes in like a 45-degree angle, but the HS version goes more lateral. So it's better for like corner carry situations. If you like super them mid-screen and you want to carry them to the corner, you can use the HS version. But do be careful about how it interacts with DHCs because it does affect. You don't get the 754. So it does 754 or 766, one of them. It does more damage the higher up you are. But the big chunk of damage doesn't happen until the ball explodes. So what can happen if you're not careful is you can DHC too early and miss. So as you can see, it takes travel time. So if you have a level 3 that has an animation, like 21 for example. This used to happen to me a lot back whenever I first picked up the game. But like I super here. But as you can see, I don't get the damage from the ball exploding there because I'm in the animation of 21's level 3 now. So be really careful about the way you DHC so you don't miss out on damage. Most of the time you can wait really long. Like you can wait longer than you think you can. So here, I'm supering from the top of the screen. And I wait for the explosion to DHC in that situation. But if you wait for the explosion, sometimes level 3s and stuff like that can miss. So you just really want to take your team to the lab and make sure you know when you should be DHCing for it. So that's level 1. He has a lot of supers actually as well. His level 3 is Nova Strike. It's a single hit, which means it's very, very good against opponents that are in sparking. It'll just kind of chunk through their health and not care about recovery. So that's really good. It is variable advantage depending on how high you are and which one of you lands first. So as you can see there, that was plus 43, whereas like the other one before was just plus 40. Meaning that you can get some decent Oki off of it. You usually just do Super Jump IED, which consists of Super Jump IED JM is what I usually do, or I do Fast Fall Low. So like that's pretty good. Full screen, you do not get super jump IAD, but what you can do is dash jump JM. So I'll set the computer to 2H here. You want to kind of buffer the dash jump. So as you can see, that counter hits their 2H because JM is really, really far. And a lot of opponents don't expect to be safe jump from back here. And since this hits 2H startup, it also hits jump startup because they're both frame 4, which is really good. That's what happens most of the time if your opponent tries to jump from all the way back there, and they just kind of get hit because tail is long. And you get a full combo off of that because of how ridiculous the hit stun is. So like that's most of the time what you're gonna do off of level 3. Also, golden. Now, I know I said before that I think Death Slash is the best thing, EX Pillar is the best thing about the character. But there's an argument for Golden Frieza being the best thing about the character. And not in the way that you think it is. Golden Frieza is really cool. You spend 3 bars, you get access to reverse beat. For those of you who don't know what reverse beat is, under normal circumstances, you can only go up the hierarchy of combos, so you can go L, M, H, right? I can cancel into L, into M, into H. So when you're in Golden Frieza, you can go backwards. Or out of order. So that means that now, I can do H into L as a string, right? Which means that, so the very, very down-to-earth, like, conventional, you know, is doing 5H and then 5L Dragon Dash. Like, that hits a lot of people because they don't expect to be reverse beated like that. You can do, you know, H's into M's, M's into L's, you can do S's, you can do S's into L's, S's into M's, M's into S's. You can do anything you want pretty much. S's into H's and so on and so forth. So you can go pretty much anywhere in the combo, in the button hierarchy. The only thing that you want to be careful of is if you use a button in a string earlier, you cannot use it again in a string. So if I do like LMH, I can't reuse the button. So like the exception is L buttons like this because you get 2 of them, right? As you can see, after I used the 2, I can't get another L out, right? Because all of my buttons have been used by then. But you can use 1 and then go back to it, right? But since you already used 5M and 5H, you can no longer use them. So I can't like infinite blockstring my opponent by doing LMH over and over again because I've already used my buttons, right? You can only use the buttons once in a string. Except for the buttons that are rapid fireable, like 2L and 5L. So keep that in mind. Keep in mind that this is also for the air as well, and you can do some pretty crazy stuff. So I'm gonna try to show you guys what an aerial string looks like in Golden Frieza. Most of the time you don't get this far because they get hit way earlier. But just to show you guys like what is possible, you can do stuff like this. So that's a quad overhead. So here, you can continue with super dash, you can continue with JS. There's a lot of different things you can do here, right? And you can, if you time this correctly, you can actually get another rep, right? So here, I do super dash. Right, and I get that JM to make contact, meaning that I can do another rep because this technically qualifies as a string reset. Right, so I can use those buttons that I used before. And like, yeah, so like I said, most of the time you don't get this far. They get hit by the J2H anyway. So I wouldn't worry too much about stuff like that. But it is really, really cool, the stuff that you're able to do, and you're also able to do reverse beats and combos as well, which most of the time you would alter your combo to do like J2S, JSS, right? Which you can't do under normal circumstances to squeeze out that extra bit of damage. I would say also there's a drawback. There's a drawback to using Golden. It is on a timer. first of all, and when you fall out of golden, you are left vulnerable. It lasts 21 seconds, right? And at the end of the 21 seconds, you'll fall out like this. You can choose to fall out at any time by doing quarter circle back HS, which is the same input that you use to go into golden in the first place. After 21 seconds, you will fall out, unless you are in sparking. When you're in sparking, your timer pauses. So if you had 3 seconds left on golden and you do sparking, your timer will not tick down. You will stay in golden. When your sparking ends, you will continue from where you left off, so that 3 seconds, and then you would fall out. You also get access to an extra air dash. I know, right? It turns out Gogeta was not the first character to have 2 air dashes. Frieza gets 2 air dashes in golden, and they're also longer air dashes as well. So all that crazy stuff you guys see Gogeta do, he's been able to do it. It's just less accessible, unfortunately. They don't like Frieza for whatever reason, right? So you have access to stuff like that. You also so when you fall out of golden, you have an option to protect yourself, which is Sorbet's ray gun. So I'm gonna fall out of golden here. If you press S while you're falling, Sorbet will come out and shoot your opponent. It costs 1 bar. It costs 1 bar to shoot. It goes through pretty much everything. I have not seen anything beat this. It's a very hard time freeze. So if your opponent is not directly on top of you and they're trying to punish you while you're falling out of golden, you can just press this and they will get shot. You can actually combo off of this too, which is like kind of silly, but here we are. So I'll show you guys what that looks like really quick. Go into golden. So to combo off of it, what you're gonna need to do is you're gonna have to hit Sorbet at the very end of your recovery. Right? So that combos. Which is pretty silly. But here we are. So you can do that. He also has a wake up super. Which is much worse than Sorbet. Now you can do this out of any knockdown. You don't have to be in golden to do this. So that means you can set up some stuff here. So like if you get hit by your own discs, right? You can wake up off of that as well, or anytime someone knocks you down. Now there's some things to note of this. This knockdown super is actually one of the highest damage supers in the game. It does 1920 damage full scale. So it's one of the highest damage level 3s in the entire game. It's just awkward to try to hit. The most consistent setup for hitting this is after discs in the corner. So like you're comboing your opponent, you do discs, you do L pillar here, and you do level 1. They'll get knocked into the discs, and then you hold the HS, and that will combo. That's the most consistent way to set it up. There are some other ways as well, but some of his flashier routes and some of his more novelty combos involve using the knockdown super, because it is very high damage. But I would not say that you should be really using this. Don't use this on normal knockdowns. It's really bad. It's really slow, very easily dealt with. It's just not good. Now going back to golden, the best part about golden is the activation. So when you activate, you're completely invulnerable. And also on top of it, so I guess I'll do it with I think I have a set to vanish, right? Yeah, okay. So I'll show you guys what it looks like here. So he's gonna vanish. So there's a short time before the time freeze actually happens, right? But as you can see, a guard point property activates here. I cannot be hit, and after the activation, you're completely actionable on frame 1, meaning you can do anything. You can super, you can mash, you can tag, you can do anything. So this makes the knockdown RPS against Frieza really scary for a lot of opponents, because if they overextend with their string as you're goldening, they can just be cooked. So for example, let me so what happens quite a lot is your opponent tries to grab you, right? I guess I gotta wait for him to. right? So they are cooked here. There's nothing they can do, right? Because Dragon Rush is a special move, which means they cannot mash Vanish to get out of this. They just have to suffer the recovery. And I'm invulnerable, so I cannot be grabbed, which means I can hold my 2M. And this character does so much damage. In fact, this route that I'm doing will be a Sparkingless Todd with a lot of characters and assists. So that makes the knockdown game against Frieza very scary if they have 3 bars. And of course, if they think you're gonna golden and they decide to back off, then you are able to wiggle for free, right? Another thing, so like I'll just show you guys. So here I'm holding tag. So you get frame 1 tag out of golden as well. You also get frame 1 jump. So if you think that they're gonna mash, like let's say they press a few things on your golden, you can jump immediately if you think they're gonna mash. Or if they've already overcommitted into the string, then you can just take your turn back. I actually don't know how fast Goku's auto combo is here, but I'm gonna mash. Yeah, see, like, there I just get the counter hit because they're already committed to the button. Now, also on top of this, be really, really careful. Your opponent has cancel properties because it does count as making contact. So if you golden and he mashes buttons, right? If let's say he only did 5LL instead of doing the whole 5LL, he can go into like supers or specials or stuff like that if they want to. So what will happen a lot against DP characters is they'll realize they've mashed into golden and then they'll mash DP afterwards because they're afraid of you taking their turn back. But keep in mind that you can just block. You can just block out of golden as well, and you can also use your system mechanics, your tags, your super dashes, and all that. So it creates a really interesting dynamic on the knockdown game. It helps this character's defense a lot. And that's somewhere where I think that he struggles is on the defensive end. So having the golden activation is really good. Knowing when to use your golden activation is really, really important. So keep that in mind moving forward. Last thing that I want to comment on is if you want to just nuke your opponent and do a bunch of damage, you can just activate golden off of like any 5H starter. So here I'm 5Hing. I actually think this might mess up. I have to see. Yeah, okay. So you want to wait late into your 5H, then cancel, right? And 5H will actually give them a wall bounce, and then you can just continue the combo. Right? So you can do that. You can activate off of 2Hs as well, right? Because in combos, the time completely freezes. So you don't lose any combo for activating golden. One thing that I will say, another thing to be aware of is how the game's coding kind of works. There are situations where you 2H, and for those of you who don't press HS, some of you might mash H to super dash out of this. There are situations where instead of getting a super dash, you can get a 5H on reverse speed instead. So like here, see what I mean? So there, I'm mashing H like I normally would for a 2H combo, but since I have reverse speed property, I'm actually reverse speeding 2H into 5H. So you got to be really careful about mashing that. I would recommend using a slight delay in HS to super dash while you're in golden to make sure that you never drop it. I think that's everything involving golden that I wanted to go over. I'll show you guys some cool stuff. I'll show you guys some cool combos and stuff either. Oh, the buffs, right? He gets a 20% damage buff. If you have golden and sparking, it's 30%. If you have golden, sparking, and limit break, it's 40%. He is also much faster. His dash, and like his movement is literally faster. Both ground and air movement. His assist also does more damage, so he does get the buff on an assist. But there it's 800, right? So now we'll golden and we'll swap out. Oh, I almost pressed. Ooh, I almost pressed reset. We got the slow assist cooldown here. So there it's 960 instead of 800. So he does get the buff on his assist as well. Which, you know, you never know when that will come in handy. So that's Golden Frieza. Very, very important part of the character. If you don't know how to use Golden Frieza correctly, your effectiveness is going to be severely reduced. Does the assist count as golden time? No, it doesn't. Oh, also quick thing, man, there's so much with golden. You can only fall out of golden when on the ground. So even if let's say my timer is up and I've played my 21 seconds, right? I cannot fall out while in the air. I will fall out the moment I touch the ground. So that means if you're keeping track of your timer, you can tag him out to keep him gold before he falls out and whatnot. But like I said, you can also choose to fall out at any time by doing quarter circle back HS. But yeah, you can only fall out while you're on the ground. You cannot fall out in the air. So you can use that to your advantage. So don't be afraid of like dropping an air combo or something because your timer is up. It doesn't matter. You'll be just okay. So that's supers. What else? Okay, so I guess we'll talk about like Blockstrings and like BMBs real quick. So Pika Fallout is a sister. Yeah, you can fall out during super animations too. So like, you guys know how if you kill someone with this, it'll go into the destructive finish animation. He can actually fall out during the destructive finish animation. He can also fall out during round start. So like there are times where the round is gonna start and he'll fall out of golden while both of you are not actionable before the round starts. It's actually really funny when it happens. And you can use that to your advantage, right? Like if I know that I'm gonna kill my opponent, and my timer is up, I can do a really long combo on purpose and then super, and then once they die, Frieza has to land afterwards. Even though you're not actionable, he will still fall out. So, yeah, there's some strategic elements. It's just it's so silly. It's so silly the way that this move works. It like doesn't make any sense. But yeah, golden is something else, bro. Okay. So, Blockstrings. Oh, man. God, there's so much stuff with golden. Last thing, I promise this time. So, you're completely inactionable. Yeah, like when you fall out, all you can do is sorbet here. You only get one gold in a game. Yeah, you cannot golden multiple times a game. So when you fall out and you're in this state, all you can do is sorbet by pressing S. So your opponent can free punish, of course, if you don't sorbet. That being said, when you're in the fallout animation from golden, you can tech Dragon Rush. So if they try to punish you with grab, you can still tech, which is pretty weird. But here we are. I'll show you guys what that looks like real quick. Whoops, that was awkward. I keep getting jump instead of just pressing my button. Bro, can you stop jumping? Alright, you know what? I'm gonna set. Actually had it on the wrong thing anyway. I definitely smoked myself. Oh my god, I'm the worst in the world. I'm the worst player in history. Turn me at the stake. You might have to tech with a button though. Maybe you can't tech with Dragon Rush? I've definitely teched Dragon Rush during this before. Maybe you have to mash though. We like mashing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what conditions set this, but I've definitely teched Dragon Rush during while falling out. You've been fooled. Set the bar to DR cancel and just DR yourself. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I guess. Though I'd have to set him to. This is so complicated just to show one thing. I'm just trying to show something silly, and here I am. I can't do it. Okay, this should work, right? It's not working for me here though. I swear on everything that I love that I've teched Dragon Rush during this, but I don't know what is causing it to not work here. Maybe it's one of those training mode things that doesn't work. Oh, it's guard cancel, not DR cancel. Probably. That would probably help. Now, if it doesn't work here, then I think training mode is borked. But yeah, I just don't think it works in training mode. It definitely. I've done this before. I promise. I promise, guys. I've teched Dragon Rush falling out of Golden. It's pretty silly. I wish I had. I wish I didn't have to nuke my clips on Twitch, because someone has definitely clipped me doing this before, but it doesn't seem like it works in training mode, which is unfortunate. Sure you have. I'm sure you can find the clip, bro. Someone out there has a clip of them teching while falling out of Golden. Someone. I don't know who that someone is. Was it in older patches? It's been a while since I've done it, so maybe they patched it out of the game. But they didn't put it in patch notes ever, so like maybe they just shadow nerfed it. I'm not sure. Yeah, it could be. But anyway, enough about Golden, man. This move is too much. Again. Okay, block strings. Most of the time, when you do block strings, they're gonna look pretty standard. You do want to be sure to let your 2M your 2M rock on both hits in your block strings. And the reason is because, like, let's say you have an assist that's on cooldown. You wanna give your assist as much time as possible to cool down while you're doing said block string. So make sure you let your 2Ms rock. Also 2M, like I said before, -2 on block. So 2M, 5M, you know, all that standard stuff works. What I will say is that you cannot do L button into 5M. This is not true string. Neither of the L buttons true string into 5M. To be really careful about doing that. Both of them do true string into 2M though. And then after, you can either go into a special move. You can, if you want to add H in, this does shoestring 5H. But if you 5H, then these do not. Right? So like that doesn't shoestring. None of those shoestring if you decide to 5H. So if you want to shoestring them into Death Slash, which is in my opinion probably the easiest way to go for like conventional mix-ups on your opponent, you just do 2M, 5M, and then pillar is the best way, and it sets up a few different things. So this is what I do with my team. So that's a fake double high here. So what I'm doing is I'm making contact with the first JM hitbox, and I'm canceling into JH, and it looks like it's gonna double overhead them, and then I land and go low. You can go into double overhead if you want to, which is what makes this so good, and you can triple overhead out of this as well, right? So like that's like pretty much what I do for like my my standard block string mix. This also works on like anti-reflex scenarios. So if you want to do, because the low does not jail, keep that in mind. The low in this situation does not jail. So most of the time whenever I go for it, I program in anti-reflect just in case they're mashing, right? So like that's pretty standard. Also, what's really common is to like do a block string and then like go for a cross up. Really normal, like conventional stuff. Most of this stuff does work. Just be really careful about your be careful about 5M, since it doesn't jail out of L buttons. Just be really careful. It can get you in trouble against people that are like mashing reversals and mashing, you know, reflect and whatnot. Keep that in mind. We did normal, specials, and supers is what we've done so far. Right now we're doing block strings, then we're gonna do combos, and then we'll do fun stuff. That is the goal. So jump ins, right? This button's really good for like starting your jump in strings. So you gotta go with your assist and figure out like what you can get to work and what you cannot get to work. You can jail them into discs as well if you want to. It just really depends on what you're looking to do. If you want to like set up discs and then maintain your distance, you can do that. If you want to stay on top of them, most of the time you're gonna want to go with the death slash, just because like that's the easiest way to stay in. The threat, Frieza's offensive threat, mostly comes in the form of left rights, just because like this is so scary, since it's unreactable. So keep that in mind whenever you're going for block strings, and also keep in mind that if you jail, right, this is auto blocked. So if you jail into a cross up in this game, your opponent will auto block it. So they could be holding back, they could be holding to the right all they want, they will block this because of cross up protection. So make sure if you're trying to cross them up, leave a slight gap so that it doesn't jail. So keep that in mind, because that's definitely really relevant for this character. You can also choose to end your block strings by like spacing out your opponent with 5S, since it has so much pushback, right? And then your opponent like kind of guesses on whether you're going to continue into key blasts, or like, you know, toss a pillar in there, or like are you going to 5H, are you going to call assist? There's a lot of different options that you have. It's just a matter of establishing that mix-up game. But he does have very solid mix-up tools once he gets in with the death slash. And with this being -2 means that you can RPS your opponents a lot. If they hesitate on their mash just a little bit, you can like reset your string. You can get back in there, you know. But that being said, 5LL does jail into 5M, I will say. His 2L and his 5L do not, but his 5LL does. So in case you want to do that, so you can get a lot of pushback off of the strings. As you can see, this pushes my opponent really far. All of that is a jail, so a lot of options, a lot of different things that you can do. And like, you know, block strings are like super variable depending on like what assist you're running. That's why I don't want to spend too long on this, because obviously like you're gonna want to figure it out with your team. My team's block strings are probably gonna look different than your team's block strings. So yeah, just kind of lab it out. Keep in mind that, you know, this has a ton of blocks done, and you can set like kind of like mid-range traps for people, because if you do stuff like this and they think that they can move, right? See how that didn't jail? So that means if he like tries to jump because he's like, oh, you know, the block string's over because you're so far away. You can either full jail them there if you press early enough, or you can aim to hit their jump start up. So you can see like this is a jail even all the way there. Now they can guard cancel reflect. They can guard cancel reflect on your key blast, but they can't on that. And if they get hit by that, you actually get a full combo. So like, it's all about like switching. I think that's the hardest thing about this character, is that a lot of people think that he's literally just a sit back and do nothing character, where like you just do this and you hope that your opponent just keeps running in this stuff. But the strength of Frieza, I think, is being able to switch up the major ranges quickly. It's going from that, you know, that key blast projectile mix-up game from full screen to like very strong offensive pressure that is very hard to deal with, because his moves are very fast, and they have way longer range than you think they do. They have way longer range than you think they do. Tongue twister. So yeah, you really got to establish that strong long range and strong, you know, close-up game. He does have super dash assist mix, but keep in mind that you only you can only do it if you're point blank. So if you're back here, can't do it because 2L does not reach. Oh, I don't know why that happened. But like, yeah, like this doesn't reach. Yeah, right? You can go high here, but you can't go low. But if you're point blank, it reaches, right? So, most of the time, if you want to set it up, you could 5M into Super Dash. Now this does not jail, 5M into Super Dash, of course. But most of the time when you set up Super Dash mix, you're not jailing anyway. So you can set it up like that, and that will give you your Super Dash mix that you're looking for. He actually, I think his Super Dash mix is pretty good, especially because he has the option of doing like triple overhead afterwards if he wants to. You can actually do stuff like this too, where your JL actually hits without an air dash. This is very uncommon. Actually, like Bardock when he does Super Dash here, right? He cannot hit his opponent, right? Right? But Frieza, his JL is actually horizontally long enough to hit his opponent even after just standard Super Dash here. So you can use this to like steal turns and stuff like that. Even like as a solo character, you can just like kind of mash there, try to keep them in the corner. Because keep in mind that his JS is beam property, right? So you can like trap them. They think that they can escape, they can get jailed to the ground, and then you like go from there. So that's really good. Yeah, so keep that in mind for your Super Dash mix. I like to do JM instead of JL though whenever I do Super Dash, because as you can look how low this is. Like you can be really, really low, right? And I tend to like the really low to the ground mixes whenever I go for like air dash mix-ups. So yeah, you can choose either one. They're both the same amount of frames. They're both 7 frames, so it actually doesn't matter. It's still a 50-50 either way. So yeah, it'll be good from there. Corner versus mid screen, most of the time it doesn't change. Like the strings that you're going for mid screen are the same as the ones that you're gonna do in the corner. The same rules still apply with the like jailing and not jailing into Death Slash and whatnot. That being said, when you don't have to deal with the pushback, you can do some really like cheeky fake overheads and like fake so like here, right, if you want to do like whiff JL and then go low, that's one thing that you can do. But like this, right, this JM, this first hit will whiff over their head, which a lot of people after the first hit whiffs, they'll crouch because they think it's a fake. You know, they think you're faking the high and going low, and then they'll get hit by the second part of the JM, which is really strong. So that's an option that he has. And he also has like very good. He has very good like disengage. So like if you know not getting the hit, Arisaka with the raid, thank you so much. If you're not getting the hit and you're like you're trying to open people up and stuff like that, you can always just back off or rely on those long range tools again. You don't have to go in, right? You don't have to go in if you feel like you're uncomfortable, pressing your advantage. Oh, quick thing. Yeah. Let me adjust this. Because yeah, I'm sure people want me to talk about this. This actually should have gone in the super section. So, people are scared of Broly doing this, right? Right? Okay, keep in mind that he can only do that to you if you don't have meter. What's up? How you guys doing? Because if he does it and you do have meter, do I have this set? Okay, I do. Okay. You can level 3 him because you have you have an air level 3. Also, anytime you touch Broly, the shield goes away. So like if he shields, if you force him to block, it goes away. So keep that in mind. Do not be scared, okay? Do not be scared of Broly, all right? What you don't want to do is try to play Ki Blast Wars with Broly, obviously, and that's not because of shield, it's because of 5S. His 5S goes through yours, but in the mid-range, it's actually really hard for Broly to deal with your options here. He has to hold EX Pillar just like anyone else. You also have your assist available. If you can just force him to block anything, then shield is a non-factor. So don't don't like this matchup is not in Frieza's favor, but I see way too many people meme about this when there are definitely ways to play around it. The amount of times that I've been checkmated by a Broly by putting on shield and just YOLO super dashing at me, it's been like 3 times total ever. Because it takes time to put on shield. His 5S has dead zones. You can use your movement. And on defense, he has a really hard time dealing with Frieza stuff. It's really hard for a body as big as his to defend against like this crazy like triple overhead possibilities. You know, 2M scenarios. His 5L like goes over top of Frieza's head in a lot of situations as well, and it will just whiff. So just keep that in mind. I just wanted to say that. So yeah, Blockstring wise, pretty standard stuff. Nothing too crazy. How's Frieza against EX charge with Broly? So whenever he does EX charge, if you press into it, like let's say you do 5H, there's like a screen, there's like whatchamacallit? I don't know what the best way to demonstrate this is. Oh. Did I jail on accident? I did. So this is something that you can do. A lot of the time, what will happen in the mid range is you'll press 5H and he'll charge, and Broly sometimes gets frozen. Like he kind of gets like frozen in place with multi-hit moves. You know what I'm talking about? So if you're able to react to him getting stuck, then you'll be fine. But if you're like kind of just YOLOing and overextending a lot, you can get cooked for sure. But that's, to me, that's like every character. Like, you can get like really nasty stuff on him though. Like you can, like if you think he's gonna EX, like I was like delay, like oh okay, well now you get to die. Like it's now you get to die, right? And he's also really good against guard cancel as well. That's something I should make note of. So Frieza is really good against guard cancel because of his 2M. So if someone guard cancels you, even though it's only the first hit that made contact, you can super late cancel into 2H. Or if you want to be like really evil, you can late cancel into golden, and this is a 2M punish in golden, which means they will die. Like no matter what, like they just explode. So looking for guard cancel is something that's really important, and going hand in hand with that, 5H is coded to not let you cancel no matter what. Like so this makes contact, right? Under normal circumstances, if you press the 5H with another character, you could cancel into a super, right? 5H is hard coded to not let you guard cancel, or to not let you cancel out of, right? So no matter what, you cannot cancel out of this if they decide to guard cancel. So those of you who are having trouble with Frieza strings, you want to try to guard cancel the 5H if you can. That being said, there is an option select that he can do, where this is pretty interesting. I'll have to record this really quick. So what he does is, man, it's been a while since I've done this. How do I want to do this? So I'm gonna do pillar. Yeah, okay. I think that's the way I want to do it. Let me set him to not. This is just, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna wait to put this in cool stuff. Just remind me to come back to the guard cancel thing. Let me talk about combos really quick, because some of you probably don't really know how to do routes. So if you want to do like standard combo routes, you can start off like doing 2H combos if you really want to. So most of the time you want to start your air route with JM, and then JLs afterwards, and then continue your string. So here, doing JM, right? I take my knockdown. Pretty standard stuff. What I would recommend is transitioning from doing 2H routes into doing 5H routes, because like I said, since J2H always knocks down, you don't need to do 2H routes, and this gives you much better corner carry. He does have a rejump, so someone asked about this earlier. It is difficult. It's one of the harder rejumps in the game because of how awkward 5H is a button on hit. So it's the same type of rejump as others where you do 5H and you delay super dash. The problem is that 5H lasts so long that the super dash has to be really late. And I'll try to show you guys what that looks like. Right? So what I did there is 5H, delay super dash. You do air dash JM, 5L into 3S, and then you can super dash and continue the combo afterward. This takes practice. You can also cancel into super jump there if you want to. even the good Friezas, there's not that many. I don't see many of them do it out of raw 5H. Most of the time, you'll see them do it out of like vanish combos. So here, if you get a vanish, right, the 5H rock will enable that rejump. So that one's auto timed. So you don't have to worry about any delays or anything. You literally just do the vanish, you do 2M, 5M, 5H immediately, and this will auto time, right? So that's easy. Doing it out of raw 5H is much harder because it's a manual timing, but it can be done with practice. And it is really good. Like I've rejumped with Frieza almost every combo. So that is how you do the rejump. For those of you who have trouble with rejumps in general, since the structure of it is the same as others, the most important thing, well, actually, you don't even have to do a buffer with Frieza because you're not doing a air dash JL. So once you hit the JM, the 5L afterwards should be free. You can also do that same rejump off of super dash starters. So like if you hit a raw super dash, right? Or you can do this as well. This is much harder. You do super dash JM 5H, then you can rejump again. So he does have some pretty cool extension options. This is much easier on characters like Bardock who have bigger hurt boxes. So definitely make sure you practice on your GTs and whatnot to make sure that you have them down. I wouldn't worry too much about the super dash restarters at the moment, but I will say that since his cross up is so good, his fake cross up is also going to be really good, right? Because people are going to fear this so much that it's going to open up the door for you to do stuff like this. So if you want to take it a step further and learn how to do like the super dash rejumps, it can be really beneficial. You can get a ton of damage. So mid screen, most of the time, that's what you're gonna do. You can also do, like I talked about before, you can do 5H. You can call an assist here. You could continue with this if you want to take that route. It's more prorated. Most of the time, it's not necessary. If you're gonna extend, I would recommend doing something like this, where you do an air series and then you knock them down into the assist and recombo afterwards. So I usually spend one here, then I 3S again, link into super dash, right? And I would end the combo with 2 to 6S there because it's, you know, it hits stun decay and whatnot. There's a lot of points that you can extend your combos with. You can do a pre-smash as well and go into 5H, which is really good, which then you can also rejump off of. We love rejumps around here. There's a lot of different options for extensions for sure. It's just, it depends on like what type of routes you want to take. So most of the time when I do my extensions, you can even keep it really easy and do stuff like this. And you don't have to super dash after this either. Does he have JH5L off of 5H? JH5L off of 5H? I don't think so. That's a Shao question. I don't think so though. JH5L. No, I don't. Not that I know of. If it does exist, it's gonna be really hard. it's gonna be really hard. So mid screen, that's how your combos are gonna look like. Your 2H routes. So he actually does a ton of damage off of 2H. This is the really big. I mean, I don't know if it's considered basic because it does have a rejump in it. Is it fair for me to? Okay. Let's just keep it simple. So like, if you just want to continue, so you want to make sure that you cancel. You want to cancel low. So sure, it's off of raw 5. You can dash forward in 2M. And so like this would, I would say, is the easiest. It's just doing 2H, air series. Right. And then you can super afterwards, right? Pretty solid damage. If you want to take it a step further, you can do a little bit more advanced. Right. And that gets you over the 5k mark off of 2H. This is a really good route. It's a really good route. But the really thing you wanna keep in mind is that when you go to 2M, first of all, I'm doing single hit JM into jump forward JM here. I'm not doing two JMs like this, right? I'm not doing that. I'm doing single hit on the first one, 2 hits on the second one. When you vanish, do not move, okay? If you've done it correctly and you vanish late enough, you don't have to move after the vanish. Just wait and 2M them as they fall, and that will put you in the proper spacing to do the 5H rejump afterward. If you try to like dash forward and link the 2M, your spacing will be off and your rejump will drop if you choose to go that route. But that's like, you know, more advanced, like 2H though. But he can super nuke you off of 2H. So make sure, and you're gonna get a lot of 2Hs too, because people are gonna YOLO super dash you as this character a lot. So having your 2H combos on point is really important. Let's talk about corner routes. A lot of different things you can do here. If you want to be lazy and take the the normal routes, you can just do a standard air combo. In the corner, you can link JS, right? And then you can J2H afterwards if you want to. Pretty standard way to end combos in the corner. What you really want to be doing is disc routes. So I'll show you with a prorated starter here. You want to do 5H and then do discs, 2M to link. Then we can extend, and this is where we get the real good damage. That's where we get the real good damage, is doing the discs link. So 2M, 5M, 5H discs, and then you can pretty much do whatever you want. There's so many different routes. This is the route that I do. And then at the end, depending on what assist you have, you can actually extend off of this as well. I'll just show that real quick. Great. Okay, also, on top of that, if you feel like you're gonna miss the Dragon Rush, or maybe your assist does not allow you to get Dragon Rush in these scenarios, you can do this instead. Right? Because since we still have our down smash there, so you can just do J2H to knock down and then dump supers afterwards if you feel like, because if you can accidentally Dragon Rush too high and whiff, so you gotta be really careful. Is doing 2M post this better than doing 5M jump forward? Yes, it's better. It's more damage. So some Friezas do this, right? They do, man, what's the route? They do, right? The route I do is more damage. So you can do that if you want to, but it's not as good. Can't he get double disc? Yes, he can. The route's kind of outdated though. So what you're looking for here is you want to do a super early 2M cancel into 1S. Oh my god, that was yikes. I haven't done this route in a while. You'll have to excuse me. So, if you are getting reflect there, that means you're mistiming your route. Which I think means that you're air dashing too late, or back dashing too late. It's annoying. I think Frieza is decent in the meta. He's niche. Not the worst, but it's really hard to play him right now. I can't remember what my consistent setup was for double disc. You'll have to excuse me. I don't do this route anymore, so there we go. What's the highest damage Frieza can get in the corner with an SKD solo? Without an assist, man. that's pretty hard, because you would have to. So if you're choosing a 5H route for discs, so if you do 2H, right, you can get an SKD pretty easily. But if you're doing 5H, then you have to alter, because your J2H will whiff at the end of long combos. So like, for example, if I do a 2M route here, there's no way for me to get J2H there. So most of the time you're either choosing to go for like the super max damage stuff, or you're choosing for the knockdown. So most of the time, if I get an M starter and I just want to knock down for whatever reason instead of nuking them, I'll just probably cut out the. It is different and it's manually timed. Right, you can do stuff like that, and then you can backdash and get your discs off of that as well. This is not, the double disc route is not consistent on every character. It's character dependent and leaves less room for, there's a lot of more room for error. You can mess up and get reflect on the return discs. You can get hit by the return discs, which you lose your combo. You lose your combo for 100%, and it gains less meter. If he has to choose between max damage and knockdown, does that affect his 2-touch potential? I mean, like, yes, but no. Like, I think he 2-touches pretty easily. Like, even out of, I'll try to show you here. I forget what route I was gonna do. So this is off a cross-up. Oh my god. Nah, I'm smoking my rejumps. That's what's up. This 2M, 5M, JH. Yeah, no. We just went over that route. I was just saying that it's less damage than doing the it's less damage than doing the standard air series. So even if I spend both assists for the knockdown here, I get 2 bars. You get 2 bars, you get disc meaty, and then any hit from there would just kill afterwards. So I think his mid-screen routes is where you really need to optimize. When you're in the corner, like this is, you can pretty much do whatever you want. You have a lot of freedom. Like, you can do stuff like this. Like, you can literally just like mash your face on the stick, and pretty much anything will work. As long as you are mindful of what knockdowns things are gonna give you. Like sometimes I do this, which is like a really lazy combo, right? But like if I'm at the point where I'm going to kill them anyway, then like it doesn't really matter. If you cross up with JM right there, can you save on Bardock assist? Yes, but the problem is, this only hits on standing, and it doesn't hit on every standing either. Right? This whiffs on Frieza. And it whiffs on all crouchers as well. The first hit of JM. Right? The second hit can make contact if they stay there, but like, yeah. So I wish that was consistent, but unfortunately it's not. Which is why we focus mostly on the JL cross-ups instead. You can also do he has like, this was more useful in season 2. He used to have like solo snap routes, so, like you could do stuff like this, right? So that was useful because he had like the best universal fuzzy in the game, pretty much, but not the most use anymore. But it is something that you can do. It does look cool. You're actually invulnerable from the discs whenever you do that. So. what can you do to get the second hit after the mid-screen route? After you get the first one, you knock down and you do discs. And then, because like when you backdash and do discs, your whatchamacallit should start. I have a video on this too, actually. I should probably link the video. So like you knock them down and you back up, you throw discs. Now, when you meaty here, if they delay wake up, your assist will start cooling down. And you still have discs returning, so most of the time you can go for pressure without much worry. If they wake up into the discs immediately, I'm pretty sure your assists don't start cooling down. Actually, let me am I set to normal here? That's what's up. No, they do anyway, so that's really nice. Either way, whether they get hit or they block. So your assists start cooling down here. So you can look to, you know, you could back off. You could back off and like play around your discs, create the space, wait if you want to, or you can like go for stuff that I talked about before, where you like drag and rush them in between discs. Whoa, that was terrible, but you get the idea. Yeah, you have time to do things. You can jump forward and try to call out. You can jump forward and call out like jumps as well. Like if you think they're gonna block this and then jump, you can go up there and gel them to the ground. If that's something you want to do, and this Blockstrings lasts pretty long, so you'll usually get your assist back if you get a full gel to the ground. And then of course you have like super dash assist available and stuff like that. So, route wise, you can keep it simple. You can go complicated if you want. It just really depends. Like I said, the double disc route is just like inconsistent. It's very easy to drop because like you can get buffered reflect like that. So 2Ms, 2Ms do like come decently often. Like to be honest, like he gets 2Ms a decent amount. It just depends on like what resources you want to spend. How much you want to destroy them for, right? Because if you have 3 bars, right? If you have 3 bars at any point, you can always just like golden and smoke them. If that's what you really wanted to do. And then like you still have your assist available for stuff afterwards as well. So there's a lot of flexibility. It just depends. You can add in 5 S's to your routes for meter gain as well if you want to. It kills your damage, but it is something that you can do. Right, and then you can do discs afterwards. And this is what I would do if I was just like looking for a knockdown instead of like max damage. Right, see how that auto confirms on their wake up. I was gonna cover this in the Oki section, but what options do you have to look out for when you throw it? Yeah, I'll cover that in the Oki section. I'm just trying to figure out if there's anything else combo wise that we needed to do. Oh yeah, so at the end of pretty much any combo, if you're looking to cash out with supers, just do Tooth of Success. Since it's super jails since it drags all the way to the ground, you can just, you know, do that type of stuff. You don't really have to worry too much about it. Your friend plays in mid. What slot do you think? I think mid is best for him. Definitely. I think he's a character that relies on meter, but he's not a point character and he's not an anchor. Unfortunately. We'll talk about why he's not an anchor in a bit, but so a lot of different routes. Varying degrees of difficulty depending on what you want to do, but pretty flexible overall. Yeah, his Todd potential is not super great, mostly because of he doesn't have a traditional J2H, so it's like kind of hurts his damage on these like mid-screen situations. But he does have good damage out of like his conventional starters, and like raw 5H starters are very common with this character. So definitely labbing the max damage you can get with extensions off of that, really important. And goldening off of raw 5H is also extremely strong. You'll pretty much kill every time. if you have the resources. So keep that in mind. Is there anything else combo-wise? Meter gain, knockdowns. Yeah, like I said, just be careful. Be careful about doing the J2S into G2H ender. At the end of long combos, it will drop. So yeah, just be mindful. Most of the time, it's going to be better for you to 2-6S and opt for a super in those situations in the first place. You can combo out of the, you can combo vanish out of the double EX pillar, which is really good. He doesn't have anything that jails into vanish. Keep that in mind. Right? Does not jail. None of that jails. I think discs might actually. Yeah, so first trip of discs do, but they're so slow that it's not really like the most viable thing to just be doing this. Especially when they're plus already to begin with, so there's not really a need for you to vanish in the first place, but like this doesn't yeah. Which is very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. How often do you get the 2-6S 5S full screen conversion? Does 5H corner carry anywhere? No, it doesn't corner. It doesn't. If you do rejump, oh, you can corner to corner. If you rejump, you can corner to corner like pretty reliably. But I don't think you will be in the corner at the end, if you know what I mean. Like you will when you super, because the super also corner carries quite a lot. Right, so I'm not all the way in the corner here. But like if you're doing like meaty disc plus assist, they're gonna get pushed into the corner off of the knockdown scenario. Gets the word for them to tell you to go home. That's what's up. Welcome back, bro. So yeah, options, but it's awkward sometimes. it's really awkward. But the rejumps are really important. The rejumps are the reason that I tell people to always do 5H instead of 2H. His 5H are also just much better, much easier to extend with assist because you're lower to the ground, better corner carry, more meter gain in most scenarios. You also get more advantage for your disc setups as well. So like you do a 2H route here, right? You can knock them down and then disc, but that's not as good as getting a low to the ground J2H, right? And then being able to disc immediately. So yeah, most of the time you want to do 5Hs. Corner carry isn't really that big of a problem for him since you're 5Hing almost every comp. You're gonna make it to the corner, and like I said, his supers, if you do the HS version of the super, it actually throws them further into the corner as well. If you just want to make sure for your next character coming in, it goes pretty far. So pretty basic route structure there. Nothing too crazy, I don't think. Yeah, okay. So Oki, we'll talk about Oki really quick. First thing, level 3. So that is a I really should show this against Twitch to make sure. So you do get super jump mix up here, which is super jump ID JM or super jump fastball. Super jump fastball low. So really good for him. He also has a pretty decent Kaiden. For those of you who don't know what the Kaiden is, it's when you stop your string. So he has a -2 button. So the Kaiden is when you stop your string and you just super jump. Super jump fastball mix, and this is really good with him because his 2M is -2. So like doing this is really good for him. So like that's a mix-up tool that I would definitely keep in mind. Really easy to set that up with him because his 2M has so much advantage. So yeah, level 3 super jump ID in the corner. It can be up to like plus 45. On the ground, it's gonna be plus 40. If you are if you are high up in the air, you can get more, depending on what ender you chose. Like this should be 43. Yeah. So yeah, but your Oki is pretty much gonna be the same, like no matter how plus it is for the most part, unless you have a fast assist. The nice thing is that it's plus 43 and you're like right on top of your opponent. So if I want to do something like this instead, if I like have an assist available, I can just dash jump call assist. Have to wait just a little bit. Went way too fast. Right, and then I could just high-low off of that as well. Since I'm so close. A lot of options there. As far as DHC goes, is it better to do the 236S death ball or the late death ball into DR? Late death ball into DR. This feels inconsistent to do the second one. I would say most of the time for your DHCs, just do the super out of 236S. In a corner route, you can just practice this to make the you can practice to make the DR consistent, but it does, the timing does change depending on your height. So if you want to be safe, I would say do the J2H like I said before, where you do this instead. Nick V with the raid, thank you, bro. So if you're not confident getting the DR, you can just J2H and get the knockdown that way, and you can super after that as well. If you still want that extra bit of damage, but you don't, you're not confident going for the Dragon Rush route. So, so that's corner, level 3. Mid screen, you get a safe jump. It's actually a pretty wonky looking safe jump too, because most players don't expect to be safe jumped from all the way back here. Right, so that counter hits 2H. That's just dash jump JM. That's all it is. And it has so much hit stun that if you get it, you get a really easy combo afterwards. So you don't have to worry about dropping the conversion like you do with some other characters. Most of the time you want to try to buffer this this dash jump as well. Right, you can just 2M continue afterwards if you see they get hit. Call your assist, extend all you want, take your knockdown. Right, so we'll talk about what I just did there as well, now that we've covered level 3. So disco key is something that's like pretty important for the character, and being variable is the most important thing. Don't always do the same disco key. Trust me, trust me. Sometimes it's going to be better to pressure immediately. Sometimes it's better to throw discs and just wait to see what your opponent does. So the very basic disc setup here. So you get your J2H, you immediately backdash, you throw discs. If you do this correctly, if they immediately tech, this will meaty both back and in place tech. It will whiff on up tech. I will show that real quick. So if you have an anti-air assist, this can cover the dead zone really well if you happen to have access to that. Right, so on the up tech it does whiff, and they have access to their double jump, which is why anti-air assists are super good, because you can just call them here and then they get jailed into the disc no matter what they do. But basic setup, you throw discs, you can layer with assist as well. So most of the time what's going to happen is they're going to block. So you can either choose to meaty in a way that forces them to take the assist, right? So that's what I'm doing here. I'm throwing discs, and I'm calling my assist so that they cannot wiggle afterwards. This is a jail, right? Which means I can also jail into, I can get small gap pressure afterwards. Right, that all jails. That's all a jail. And you could do it like an empty low here too if you wanted to. Now you can't, unless you have a high block stun assist. This will not jail afterwards, the low. Right? But keep in mind you have discs returning. So even if they reflect, they still have to deal with the discs afterwards. So you can put yourself in some pretty favorable situations because you do have the discs returning. So you can choose that route. How much block stun does Baby B have? Like 35, I think. Someone fact check me on that. I'm not sure. Sometimes what I like to do instead is stuff like this. Whoops. 38. I see. Now, the reason I like to do this string is because if they get hit, right? Which is gonna happen sometimes. Sometimes people will get hit by meaty discs because they just don't expect to not be able to move. This is an easy hit confirm with my character. This is gonna be variable depending on what characters you have and what assist you're running. But it's easy for me to ID and then just wait to see if they got hit or not, and then choose my pressure afterwards. Yeah, the ID. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying like it comes at you very quickly. So like this gets a lot of hits. So it can be really beneficial to run it that way. Also, you don't have to disc. Keep that in mind, right? I think another big thing that a lot of Friezas do is they disc every single time, and like he also has the conventional, the conventional Oki tools available to him. He can do the universal safe jump, right? And it's actually pretty good with him because he also has the option of like doing double overhead afterwards as well. If you just want to knock them down, and then like dash jump, call assist for a mix-up, you can do all of that. Does that also cover up tech with the ID? No. If you want to cover up tech and you don't have an assist to do it, it has to be a call out pretty much. It's the hardest part by far, right? Because these don't meaty. So what you can do though is you can put yourself in a situation where like you super jump close to your opponent. Because overwhelming majority of the time what happens when you disc here and they up tech, so one of two things happen. Either they up tech and they mash super dash because they're like, oh my god, like time for me to go in, but keep in mind that discs still come back, so they still have to deal with that even if they do put you in block stun. What you can also do is, this leaves you at the spacing for pillar. So if you think they're gonna up tech, or even if you react, also that can happen too. If they don't jump immediately after the tech, they can get clipped. But even if you if they do block here, you can't force them to the ground with pillar if they decide to. I think I can do double jump here, right? Guess we'll. Right, and that brings them down pretty far, like, so that can put you in a really good situation. You still have time to duck the returning discs afterwards as well. So there's some call out options. I think dealing with up tech's definitely the hardest part, which is why I would say that you don't always want to do discs. If you're feeling like they're gonna up tech, you still have, right? You still have your regular jailing that you can just do. You don't always have to disc. Don't tunnel vision on the disc Oki. It's pretty solid, but it only becomes really good whenever you mix it in with your conventional Oki tools. Tunnel visioning on discs will just get you up tech scrambled every time, and that's not what you want to do. that's not what we're looking for here. So just keep that in mind moving forward. That pretty much covers disc Oki. You can jail the discs into assist, or you can intentionally delay to hit like jump startups if you think they're gonna wiggle. Some people like to. Sometimes keeping it simple is the best way as well. Like Tack likes to mash Dragon Rush on Wake Up so he'll do like do I have delays? There we go. So he'll do like delay Wake Up, right? And paying attention to the delay Wake Up scenario is very important. right? So he'll like DR there, is what he does, because he thinks he's clever. But you're still plus, right? You're still plus this whole time. So sometimes it's better to just throw the disc and then just meaty afterwards. You just really never know. I guess I have to go a bit further. And taking a 2M from this character in the corner is not what you want. And sometimes that will happen and it's very frustrating, but you can't. I've actually never had that happen to me like that before. That was pretty sick. But like, even if I wanted to stay back here and 5H him, or do a jump in, or like I said before, do an IED, you're plus this whole time. So you just want to make sure you're still playing off your tech. Your tech, you reacting to your opponent's tech is going to be really important, whether you have discs or not. But discs do force your opponent into a scenario where they can't really take their turn back, right? Because you always have the option of just throwing and then just waiting. I need to turn him off of Dragon Rush. So like, yeah, that's really important. Just don't disc every time. Please don't disc every time. He has a 2-0 low, so like the same situations where you're doing like super dash assist with other people, you can do it with him. Sometimes, actually, I wonder if I could show the. I think even off of this, you can like do some interesting auto combos with him. Oh, I didn't even mean to jail that, and I did. Right, so like there, Bardock keeps him standing, so you get like even juicier combo. There are times where they get hit by returning discs as well. So like here, you can actually auto combo into 5H here. It's a little hard sometimes, depending. You kind of have to delay, but like then you would get a full redisc combo afterwards. So that's a really nice conversion to have. Just definitely practice that, because if you go too fast, then like you just don't get it, and especially on like super small bodies. So keep that in mind as well. You can maximize damage potential in a big way. About enders, if you want to, so about combo enders, someone asked about what if you feel like you can't get the Dragon Rush? Is it better to just cash out with 2 for success? If you have a ton of meter, and you really want to cash out, there's 2 different ways. So if you don't have an assist, you can do this. And what that is vanish, dash forward 2 through 6 L super. Adds a little bit of extra damage if you're like trying to squeeze out the kill. If you do have an assist though, you can do this route, which is always cool. And that is that's vanish, dash forward, auto combo, plus assist, and that will link the third hit of his auto combo, which will link into super afterwards. So that's a really good extension option to have. And I actually, some of my Todd routes I do that in because I just need that little bit of extra. It definitely helps a lot, and it looks cool, right? And isn't that what we're all here for? Isn't that why you're all here watching this? Is because Frieza looks cool. So yeah, that's another nice extension to it. Is there anything else, Oki wise? I don't think so. E pillar as well. For what? On you mean on the auto combo? It's kind of awkward. I think on some characters it works. So the way that it sends you is like really awkward. It for some reason sends you not forward. It sends you back towards Frieza. So like pillar is inconsistent to try to hit in that situation. Also, even if you do get the pillars, sometimes they'll be too high for the super to link afterwards. That can also happen. I've had that happen to me when I like hit someone at the very top of the pillar and I try to do super. The level 1 is actually too short. It's too short to hit them, so I wouldn't pillar afterwards, especially at high hit stun decay. They'll just fall out anyway. Pillar doesn't have set hit stun like he doesn't have set hit stun like the auto combo does. Z Broly Z chain setup? I don't know what you mean by that. But which one are you? What aspect are you talking about? I was just trying to make sure I covered everything with Oki, but Z Broly. Are you talking about like DHC stuff? Like I don't know in which way you're talking about though. That's we could still cover this later though. I'm gonna do an open Q&A real soon. I just want to make sure I cover the Oki, and then I just want to talk about his assist, and then I'll do Q&A, and then we'll do fun stuff, and then we'll be done. So yeah, his assists, and this is a source of many people's misery. They don't like Frieza's assist. Now, man, there's a lot of things. First of all, before I say anything, don't pick this one. Don't pick B. It's not worth it. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, your choices are A and C. C assist is it's the same thing as his rocks on point, right? They move full screen, get a full combo out of them. I actually don't know the block stun on this. Let me check really quick. $30, not the best, but it is really active, just like the rocks are. So like, if they get clipped by one single rock on their toe, they get full combo. So Frieza B looks like Broly A. Much worse Broly A, because it has like no block stun. 11 frames of block stun. It is a slow moving projectile, so you can like move with it, right? That's really good that you can like literally move with it, but I think that's the only strong part of it. Block stun is really bad. It is fast though. It's 19 frames. Yeah, it's not that good. So like, you can run C. I think it's a pretty, like, I don't know, pretty mediocre C assist overall, but it's okay. I think A assist is his best assist, but you need to use it in unconventional ways. So like, most characters cannot do conventional block strings with his assist in this way, because it's set distance, unless they're in the corner, of course, right? If you're in the corner, then you don't have to worry. But mid-screen, a lot of characters have trouble block stringing with his assist because of the dead zone. They don't have enough pushback. So you have to get creative. Like sometimes, since this is the actual team that I play, sometimes I like to just 5H people with 21 into Frieza. Depending on the situation, I'll just like stay on the edge of my range, try to put them in this situation where they're like back at the very edge of my tail, and then they try to jump and they get smoked. But it's mostly a neutral assist. Block strings is not like where this shines. If you're playing a character with a lariat style move like Bardock, or like a Teen Gohan, or who else has a good lariat? There's a lot of characters with decent lariats. Killer is really good for lariats. Really good. Because with Bardock, right, this is super convenient. No matter where I press Lariat Frieza will always work. It doesn't matter where. It just doesn't matter. It'll always work. It's convenient. It never doesn't work. And on hit, it's also really easy to confirm. Right. Tons of hits done. You can even wait a little bit. Right, Lariat, you know, wait. Oh, he got hit. Cool. Full combo. Real easy to work with off of Lariats. what it's best at is playing like an area of denial role. So since it's set distance, you always know where it's gonna be, which means you can play around the mid ranges, and when your opponent is in that range, you can kind of just say like, no, you can't move past this point, and they'll get either jailed to the ground or they'll get hit trying to super dash or stuff like that for the most part. What's really good with this assist also is dash jumping and calling it, because anytime that you dash jump, you'll be right on top of where the assist gets called, right? So wherever you dash jump to, that's where the assist is gonna come right out at, which is really good because that means if they get hit, it's a really easy confirm, right? Just real convenient. Very easy to work with. It's also really good for if you're gonna try to go in with a super dash and you want to cover yourself, since it's so fast, because this is 23 frame assist, which is like not really reactable considering how the audio cues and stuff work with assists in this game. So it's really fast. It's really annoying. It impedes your opponent's movement in a big way. It also has some like pretty intense Oki applications, depending on what character you play. So I'll show you what I do with Bardock. So Bardock actually gets he gets a high-low or a left-right. He gets both with this assist by just dash jumping after level 3. And the best part about it is that it has visual obscurity, so you can't really see your character, which makes it really strong in these situations. Especially when we're gonna talk about some corner applications here in a second as well. Okay, I guess my JM was mad low. That's what's up. Majin Buu A. I think it's better than Majin Buu A to do. Right. So you can set that up. Really nice for Bardock. This assist is so good for him. It's actually crazy how good that assist is for him. Also, it also gives characters, if you have a move that does ground bounce knockdown, you can DR off of it. And also on top of that, I actually don't know if I can. I don't think I can DR him with 21 there, but you can link like gut punches and, you know, extra special moves afterwards. Like I can do this. Right, I can get a 2-3 success ender after that for 21 as well. So like you can use it for like, you know, last minute extensions off of DR. You can use it to set up, you know, ground bounce extensions as well. Really easy. It's instant. It doesn't take travel time, so doing extensions off of it is actually like really easy. It's not hard to do it at all. Also really good for like characters that just, you know, want to key blast call assist. This is really good. Really easy hit confirm off of this as well. Covers a lot of ground. And in the corner, of course, you can do like super dash assist mix with it. Real easy. You can't really see. So like when Bardock does like lariat, right? This is a hard Dragon Rush attack. It's a really hard Dragon Rush attack. Because you can't really see your character. You can also like hide your character in it. So like there's a lot of things. Like if they're crouching, like there's a really fast empty low that like pretty hard to block. It's because you just can't see your character at all. So you can use it to mask command grabs too. You can like do fake assist calls. So like since it has a dead zone, some characters, like let's say you were like Broly or something. Actually, I can just get Broly in here. If you wanted to go that extra layer, you could call the assist and grab them, because it just doesn't make contact in those situations. It looks really crazy with 21 actually, because it's like right? It blows up exactly where they're at. So like that's pretty cool. So it has some applications. It's mostly neutral and Oki focused. Blockstrings it's not the best with. Block stun. It's 23. It's 23 block stun. They nerfed it from 26 for whatever reason. I guess they thought it was broken or something. But mostly you're just gonna be looking to snipe people in the air and force them to the ground, or super mix them because you can't see your character. you can't see your character whenever you call this assist. So I definitely think A is the best, then C, and then B assist doesn't really exist. So yeah, we don't really talk about that. we don't really talk about that. Okay, so that's. I just want to show. I'm gonna do like a little fun section at the end and just show off some cool things you can do with the character. But before that, Q&A. If any of you in chat have specific questions before I move on to the fun stuff, or even like while I'm doing the fun stuff, just let me know. So the first thing I'm gonna show is let's see. What do I want to do? Do I want to do golden? I think I'll do golden last. So like. Some of you might have saw this earlier, but you can alley-oop. You can alley-oop yourself by hitting yourself with this in this combo. And then afterwards, so I'm gonna set him to 2H. This actually safe jumps. Now Broly I think armors through the ki blast, but not everyone can be Broly. What does Frieza do to Spark Mix? Good question. Do you show all the S moves, and do they combo to SD? Wait, you mean all the Ki Blast moves? I already did I showed the S moves already. I'll go back and do that. Spark Mix. This is the pretty standard setup that you want to do. Right, so that's a high-low. That is not a left-right. Because you get auto-blocked. Right, but that is a high-low. I just usually do 2M, 5M assist call, jump cancel into JH, and then air dash higher low. Pretty standard stuff. You can also do the sparking or the vanish version. Right. And going hand in hand with that, his sparking route is standard sparking route. So if you guys want to confirm. So that's you add some air dashes into this route. So you can get more and more damage. You can extend with your assist off of this too. So very standard stuff. And like I said, it's gonna heavily vary depending on what assist you have and whatnot. So keep that in mind. Can you show all the S moves? Like the only ones that combo to super dash are it's just JS in the corner. So you can do JS super dash here. But you can't, under normal circumstances, you can't like do like J2S super dash. Right, it's not enough hit stun. But I covered all of his Ki Blast moves in earlier on in the guide if you want to take a look at that. Yeah. So we did what? Knockdown super. There's so many awkward things. You can actually do combos, either golden Frieza loops and sparking. Yes, but it's better to just do the nowadays. Yes, this is a frame 4. So it's good for Vanish scenarios, but not really that good anywhere Unfortunately, whenever they changed Frieza's JM, it pretty much made it so the simpler combos are the better ones to do in Golden. So like, yeah, you can do loops, but like mid-screen, you should just do the standard stuff. To be honest, like you should just Golden up. Like, just keep doing the same thing, right? But you do get an extra air dash though, so what you can do, so this is a golden sparking route. You can actually do this, when in normal Frieza too, so I'll show it with him first. So this is a empty vanish with sparking conversion. And since you whiff the sparking, you do a lot more damage. Right, so you can tot off of that a lot of the time out of raw 5H, which is really good. You can do the same thing in Golden, but you get an extra air dash, so you can do like 5H, Golden first, then here you would mash sparking, and then you would actually hold your vanish. I'm gonna go, oh, I'm a potato. And the conversion is JM, J2S, and then air dash forward. For some reason, when I'm in Golden, I just think completely different. Like I keep doing JS for whatever reason. I don't know. Ignore me. But you get an extra air dash, so you can do more. You can do more air dash extensions. So like in this situation, pretty much any route. If you want to take like a really easy way to just add extra damage, you can just like, right, and then you could extend afterwards if you want to. And like, whoops, they died. Like, you hit that DR, then they die. So it's really like you can keep stuff really simple. So the standard Golden route that I would recommend doing is this one, where you do the double JLs. And the reason I recommend this one as opposed to another one, because so like I see some Friezas do, they do one JL and then they land and do 5L and then they re-jump off of that. I like this route better because it corner carries way more, because you can actually dash jump on every rep. You can dash jump on every rep here for maximum corner carry, and it's easy to just like not have to do delays, right? Like you don't have to delay anything for this. Just kind of do it. So you just do that. You get 3 reps off of 2M. Off of like other starters, if you like do some buttons before you Golden, you're probably only gonna get 2. And then you do get an air series and all that afterwards. So like off of raw 5H with my team here, I'm pretty sure this kills. No sparking required. I super too early, but yeah, that is a Todd, right? So if you have the meter to burn, this is a 6-bar Todd that you would need, because you have to spend 3 to Golden in the first place. Did he just go out of Golden during the level 1? No, that's not possible. Do I think Golden activation is a good defense tool? Yes, it's broken. I went over that earlier too. It's ridiculous. It's actually insane. If he didn't have it, I think the character would be much worse. The Golden activation is really good. Also, thank you guys for the follows and everything. I just have alerts paused so I can finish out the guide. So, that's Golden. Guard cancel. I went over guard cancel. Oh, the Kara thing, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is interesting. It might take me a few tries to get this though. Whoops. Oh my god. Okay, so here, right? I guess I should record it. I think recording it will probably be the best way. Let me get a bunch of meter. So I was talking about before how his 5H, you're not able to deal with guard cancel at all because they hard code his 5H to not let you do anything, even super, right? So like here I'm inputting golden, but I can't because they hard code it that way. But the way around it is doing a card cancel string, which involves I need to turn off guard cancel first. Oh my god, can you please? Thank you. Okay. So there, I am doing so he's doing MH, right? And then he's inputting pillar, and he's also inputting golden afterwards, you can see, right? So what happens here is that the startup of the death slash initiates, so you can't golden during it, right? Even though he's inputting it, you can't golden because death slash is starting up. So what happens if you guard cancel, right? Oops, that was terrible. I need to do it on so what this does is this option selects guard cancel. So here, right, I'm doing death slash, but I'm canceling the startup into golden. So you can see his animation change, right? This is the startup of death slash. It might be not. It might not be obvious to some of you, but the guard cancel freeze lets you cancel your startup into other moves. So there, this is really obvious, right? This is the startup of discs, right? So you can cancel the startup of discs into golden too. See what's happening here? His hands come out to the disc, but then you're able to golden. Yeah, this is an OS for guard cancel. And yeah, needless to say, they will die if they get hit by this. So like, this is a cool option that he has. Actually, this is something that almost every character can do. It's just like, it's really good with him because he has a super that makes him invulnerable, so the guard cancel just bounces off of you, and then you just get a 2M starter in golden, and we all know how that goes. So I always thought that was cool. So like here, I'm doing the same thing. I'm inputting 5H, but I'm also doing golden input at the same time. So if they're looking to try to cancel the startup of my 5H, I can go into golden and smoke them. And then on block, it just would never come out, right? Because if you do your move early enough during the startup, right? I don't get golden here. See how I don't get golden? Because the discs haven't made contact yet, stuff like that. So do I do this all the time? No, I don't do this all the time. I do it sometimes though. I work it in whenever I think my opponent is likely to guard cancel, and I'm late in my string. But yeah, they can't guard cancel. Most of the time, if you're fearing guard cancel, just don't do 5H. Anything else, if you do any other string, it's really dangerous from the guard cancel. This button is unguard cancelable. You will super die. Like, you just cannot. So yeah, only 5H is really the landmine. If they limit break guard cancel, can you still card cancel like that? If they limit break guard cancel? Limit break guard cancel. Is that what they call solo guard cancel? I think limit break. Oh, okay. I was like, what is he talking about? Yeah, so you input the original way. So like if you think they're gonna guard cancel, you input it in the original direction. And then you mash. And then yeah. You ever just turn your back on someone? So yeah, pretty good option, I would say. All right, I'll show you guys some cool. People love seeing me do this. If you do golden to string with the frame advantage, it's not plus. It's not plus. Yeah, you experience time advances before the initial before the time stop happens. So like here, see how 19 frames pass there? It does not freeze. The only time it freezes immediately is if you're in a combo. Then it time freezes frame 1. But there's always time in between. Okay. Oh, whoopsies, I didn't golden. I really dropped the ender, I'm tight. Of course they won't let us have fun. That would be boring, right? So this is actually a combination of, if you guys know Shao, this is a combination of his and my ideas. His original one had you do this. You did 2H pillar, then golden, then you wisp spark, then you empty vanish. But I found out that it's easier to do it. It's easier to mash the spark first. And you're dead. And you're dead. So like that staircase is really fun. You can do combos where like you intentionally actually I don't remember the route for this. You can fall out of golden on purpose. I just don't remember. I don't remember the route. Now you can hit them with sorbet. And then sorbet sliding knockdowns them back towards the original direction. Does Golden Frieza work off of 6M? Like you could I'll hold on. Let me really meter dump here. That all combos. Don't ask me why, but it does. This Golden Frieza will work off of 6M. Do you mean like a 6M combo? Yeah, you can do that. Can Sorbet kill? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's actually my favorite way to end matches. Oh, what I was saying before is if you do the knockdown super, which is really bad, it should only be used in combos. That safe jumps 2H and hits jump startup. So after you do the knockdown super, you just mash 2-2S plus assist, and you get a full combo off of it too. Yeah, it's pretty random. I found this messing around in training mode one day. I was like, I wonder if... Imagine getting 2-touch that way. I'm mad because this character is so cool, but I think that's why they keep doing stuff to him. Does that work in the Spirit Bomb? No, it doesn't, unfortunately. That'd be dope though. No, because it's a level 3. The knockdown super is a level 3, so you can't go into Spirit Bomb. That'd be godlike, bro. Stop. You're making my mad scientist brain go crazy. Don't do that. That would be crazy, bro. Was there anything else? That might be it. I'm mad about the Golden Dragon Rush thing. I don't know why I can't demonstrate that. Hey. You can't have all the options. They're trying to keep a good tyrant down, bro. It'd be like that. But yeah, character's really fun. He has so much stuff that that it keeps me interested. You can do he is really fun. So like this is only -4 instead of -19, so you can try to do that, but I wouldn't recommend it. Most of the time you're gonna want to spend golden for a wake up scenario, because like yeah, it's too strong. Oh, I guess I should go over really quick how to so I've been experimenting with different ways to jail to the ground with him. So like you can do that, but sometimes it will whiff on certain characters. So if you're like looking to get sparking advantage, right? You can do jail, but the second hit of JM will not make contact here. So you gotta be really careful about how you can still jail nonetheless though. So this is why you play 16. That's OD. But yeah, that is a live Frieza guide, people. I'll upload this to YouTube. I'll probably just do like one VOD instead of breaking it up, and I would probably maybe try to timestamp stuff so people can get to where they need. But hopefully you guys enjoyed it. You know, yeah, get out there and play some Frieza.